you're planning to go camping, don't. If you're looking forward to midnight swims, don't.
What are you looking at? Who's a face?
Bloody pom-poms.
A horrible face.
There's something eating at everybody, right?
They say he smashed his way through the bunkroom door, just a mass of flames.
Ever since we've been here, it's never a good night.
Right now he's out there
I hope you die.
watching.
There is a killer out there.
So look,
Something to die for.
you see him. Don't breathe, they'll hear you.
I'm gonna win that queen contest.
You're dead. Run!
She shows me to kill her.
I will return! I will have my revenge!
Waiting.
A bloody pom-pom.
The burning.
You're a mascot, not a human.
Because this summer, the legend of terror isn't just a campfire story anymore.
Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. Episode 295 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast is coming at you live and direct with the homie JP, also known as the Mexicans. And of course, we got Mr. No Fact Check Saucedo, also known as Tyler in the house. And welcoming back to the show, we got the FreeMason, also known as Mason, in the house. And I be your host, the toxic offender, Moodz. Yeah. What's going on, dudes?
What up?
Oh,
Slasher Sunday.
Slasher Sunday. Woo!
Yeah.
We lied. We're back. The week after we said, well, have a good summer.
We had a week in between.
Yeah, I mean, we did this, I think, last year, too. I think we did 2 shows, like, right away also. But
Yeah, I think we might have done one, like, the very next week last year.
I think we did, actually. But
Yeah.
I mean, this is fun, though, man. And Mason's right, man. It is Slasher Sunday. So we're coming at you with episode 295. And this one's very specific. And I hope JP doesn't fuck the thumbnail up on this one either, because
I already know how I'm doing it.
I kind of wanted to say this, like, 80s standalone summer camp slashers, because that's
I'm
exactly...
not putting that.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. I'm putting summer horror.
That's fucking super lame.
Volume 1.
Dude, this is all these movies
Slasher should be on there.
Summer horror.
All these movies
Slasher.
are picked specifically based on this title. They're all from the 80s. They're all standalone slasher films, and they're all set at summer camps. So this was a very specific episode that I wanted to do. Surprisingly, in like 295 episodes, we have really never talked about, one of the more infamous, famous standalone slashers, which is The Burning, before. So I was like, why not do it? I mean, it'll make for a decent conversation. Plus, it's exactly what it's, doing. It's a set at a summer camp and stuff. So, but then I was thinking, I'm like, well, why don't we just theme it out with 80s kind of thing and talk about another one that I very rarely ever see get mentioned. It's never on any list. People don't really, I think it's because it's probably a little bit underseen, which is Twisted Nightmare. And then of course, Cheerleader Camp. I know people know about that title, and it's always associated with, where's the fucking Blu-ray? Right? Because it's got that awesome artwork that Anchor Bay put out. I think it's the only DVD release of it. And that's just what we have. That's just what we have. So it's kind of, again, it's infamous for that. And of course it's standalone. So, and I always feel like standalone slashers don't get as much love as the obvious like franchise slasher films and stuff. Like there's a lot of slasher films out there that have sequels, right? But they don't qualify for this. So, this is pretty fun. It's pretty fun. You know what I was kind of doing some research. I was, doing some Googling around and stuff. It's a really interesting thing. You think that there would be so many summer camp based slasher films out there. Actually, if you take out the Friday the 13th films, there's not really a ton of slasher films that are actually based at a summer camp. It's really wild. And you know what else I was thinking too? So last night I'm having some beers and I'm watching WrestleMania 4. And it got me thinking, I was like, what's really odd about the Friday the 13th franchise is that there's only one out of all the movies that's actually set at a camp with kids. like a functioning camp, because all
Yeah,
the
it's
movies are
part
basic.
six.
Part 6. It's the only film that's actually set at a functioning camp out of all the movies. That's kind of bizarre, right?
Yeah.
So and you know, I mean, that seems to be a thing that's, you know, happens quite often. But with these films, it's, you know, it's per se, it's not necessarily kids. I mean, like little kids, you know, there's definitely kids in these, but but like The Burning, I don't know, man. I mean, those are kind of like later teens. They're not kids, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you don't see a lot of that though. It's pretty interesting. So, but
Yeah.
all three of these films have like contrast to them, and you know, they're more kind of adult oriented and stuff, but still really fun.
You would think that there would be more, like, especially because like when you think of like the tropes or like how like pop culture thinks of slasher films, it's like, oh, kids at a camp getting picked off, and it's like, well, yeah, there was a lot of Friday the 13th kind of, but there's actually not a ton of summer camp movies.
No,
I mean, you got the sleepaway camp films as well.
Yeah, and there's just not really a lot. It's odd. There isn't a lot of them. But you know, the funny thing about Friday the 13th Part 6, so there actually is kids at this functioning summer camp, but unfortunately, none of the kids actually die in that movie. So it's all the adults that get dead. So,
Yeah, I think it might be bad taste for Jason to kill a kid, because he was a kid when he died.
well, that's kind of where my head was at. I'm like, you know, he's still kind of a kid himself, and he's not blaming the kids for killing his mother, right? So it's more about the camp counselors. So yeah, he's not going to kill kids. They're not responsible for that shit. So kind of makes sense in the narrative. But yeah, like surprisingly, not a lot of summer camp slasher. And actually, let me bring up this one too. This is a film that we've talked about at multiple times on this show, actually, that always gets lumped into summer camp slasher films lists and stuff like that, is Madman. Now, if you're familiar with the standalone slasher film Madman, it is interesting because it is not a summer camp, or it's not a summertime slasher film. This movie actually takes place in like later November, which is technically the fall, because in the narrative, they actually tell you that it takes place about a week before Thanksgiving. So a lot of people put this on summer camp lists, and I'm like, it doesn't take place during the summer. You're cheating with that fucking thing. But yeah, so just kind of a little notable thing there. But I know a lot of people love Madman. I'm kind of, you know, it's one of those films I go back and forth on. I like it, but
I like Madman a lot.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. I mean,
well, we could do a part 2 to this technically.
Oh yeah.
Final Girls is one.
Well, this would be the 80s edition then. If you do Final Girls, which is fun.
I'm not calling it the 80s edition.
Why not? This is the 80s edition.
It's going to be called, look, hear me out. It's going to be called Summer Horror.
I'm putting that in my title.
Semicolon Summer Camp Slashers.
I'm going to put that in my YouTube title. So
because here's why. Because little tilt of the hand here, we have a few summer themed shows coming up. Possibly.
Yeah. Fair.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So what's everybody been up to in this long break that we had?
Movies.
Movies?
Went and seen Final Destination 6 with the wife the other day.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few modern movies that we've all seen now we can talk about.
Yeah. I actually watched a few 2025 films, but I do want to talk about Final Destination 6 because we actually got a kind of a funny story out of it. So we're watching the film, me and the wife. And I don't want to get into like too much of spoiler territories, but she said something really funny that actually ended up being true within the film. And I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. So there's a part in the film where they've kind of changed the narrative a little bit with this one, and it's kind of like more the descendants of this whole thing that happened and stuff, or getting picked off one by one and stuff. But anyways, there's this kind of like really kind of funny moment where this one character ends up living. And
did she call it?
She literally turns to me in the theater and goes, I bet you any money that he's not even a biological son. And I looked at Aaron and I said, Aaron, there's no fucking way they're going to do that. That's so stupid. I shit you not.
Funny
not 30 seconds later, they literally get, the family sits around and they go, we need to tell you something. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I literally call bullshit on that because I'm like, there's no way they're going to do something stupid like that and have this character live because he's not biological. And I was like, this is crazy. And then sure as shit they did. And I was like, that's crazy. And Aaron just like told you, like simple and plain. I'm like, fuck sakes, man. I thought it was really funny.
Is that why you always wanted to play catch?
Yeah. Which is actually kind of interesting too, because that character ends up having my favorite death of the entire movie, which is a huge shout out, which I called myself. That's a shout out to the cover of Final Destination 5. You know the cover of Final Destination 5 where it's got all the rebar coming through the skull and shit?
Yeah.
Well, if you look at that scene, what happens to him, it actually mimics that. And I totally called that because I get online and bloody disgusting was like, there was a great shout out kill to the poster. Why I fucking called that? I called it in the theater.
I have Carly here. Carly, in the theater when we were watching Final Destination Bloodline and that one character lived, what did I lean over to you and say?
And the one character did what now?
Lived.
One character lived.
The goofy tattoo guy. When the goofy tattoo guy lives.
One character.
She can't hear you. The tattoo artist, Carly.
Oh, you said, am I allowed to? Yeah. You said, I said.
I swear to fucking God, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
You did not say that, bro. You're high right now or something, and you're trying to take credit.
Dude, I was thinking it, but whatever. Whatever. You said that it's probably not. It was an illegitimate child, and he wasn't related to them, so he didn't get to die.
Yeah, see, Moodz, me and Aaron are both smart as fuck, and you guys are.
I just thought that it was silly. That
also, I said something too. I think once.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Oh man.
He fucking totally just cut her off. That's hilarious. But yeah, no, I mean, I get it. It makes complete sense within the narrative because it actually sets up a really good kill later on in the film too. But I just thought it was funny because when she said it, I was like, that is so damn goofy. There's no way. Like, and then also
she cheated on him. That's exactly what I said.
I just love when he says like who the father is, and he's like, the name just sounded uber dorky. He's like, oh really? That's my father. I laughed out loud.
Trying to play catch.
Yeah. I started dying. I was like, oh, is that someone supposed to like remember who that is in pop culture that he had that line? I fucking lost it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, overall, Final Destination was cool. I like how, again, like one of my favorite things about Part 5 was the rule changes within it. I thought that was a really unique idea to do in the franchise because it needed a change after Part 4 because Part 4 was fucking terrible, to be honest. But then Part 5, they regenerated that franchise by changing the rules. And then they kind of took it one step further within this one. And I thought it was really cool. But I really like kind of like the arc and like the whole wraparound kind of story with Tony Todd's character and how it plays in with the child and like his non-scripted kind of speech in there and shit is so heartfelt for like the real fans of the franchise. And like I spent the day before watching the previous 5 films, so I was really in tune with the character and stuff. And then when he says that, I like actually had to hold back the tears. I was like, oh my God, that's so terrible because he knew he was dying. And the contrast was just so cool because he was talking about the characters in the film, but he was talking about himself too. And I was like, this is so brilliant. It was really, really good. And I'm glad that the movie was really well done in itself for him to like leave it on that note. But I had a lot of fun with it. I thought the kills were good. Like I said, the rule changes, bringing that kind of ideology into it, I thought was really cool, but fun film, really, really fun film.
Yeah, I liked, it's like they didn't even really change the rules at all, but they just gave you such a broader scope of just like the whole view.
Well, they just kind of added on to the mythology.
Yeah, they gave you the whole like macro view of it. I thought it was like really cool, and it made me wonder like, well, how many webs are like this? Like, there could be another web with like another actor like 3 times as big as this, and then like how many like little like flight whatever like incidents are within this web that created their own thing. That like, it's really cool when you really start thinking about it.
But just like when I thought like the whole idea of the film was playing out, so I'm like, this is really cool with the whole Descendants thing and stuff, and then the end of the movie was so fucking cool, dude. Like the actual end. I don't want to say anything for the people who haven't seen how it ties into another film. Because
I thought it was
because you don't realize that you're watching something that isn't taking place in present times. So it's kind of cool. But really unique.
What?
Really unique.
So for me, like I'm a big fan of this series in general. Like,
but you don't understand what I meant?
No, I didn't understand what you meant. Are you talking about the end of this movie?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
On the plane?
You mean part 5?
Is that the end of part 5? Or is this at the end of this one? No, it's the end of this one.
No, the end of this one.
Oh, that is part 5. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the end of this one was an homage.
Right. Oh my God, dude. I'm just totally. Yeah, that's a problem with watching fucking 6 movies that are very similar.
I thought you were suggesting, like, and I wasn't gonna say anything, but because I was like, that's not right. But I thought you were suggesting the end of this movie. Like was something that happens in another movie. I was like, no, that's not.
No,
right.
no. I'm just tripping dicks. But yeah, no, the end of part 5 is amazing. It's fucking awesome.
I love the end of part 5.
Yeah, it's so good. But
so this one, I think first of all, I think it's a great Final Destination movie. And I'm very happy that it was very successful because that hopefully means we get more of them, which I've always been.
I mean, all 6 of them have been. They've all done well.
The only one I don't really care for is part 4, but even that I kind of can get over because it's like more goofy. I don't know. But the thing about like the Final Destination franchise that this one, why it was so effective is because it sort of like Tyler said, it didn't really change any rules or anything per se, but it changed the story structure. And it also tied everything together and like made because years and years, everybody always wondered, like, is Tony Todd death? Like, what is his character, So to sort of give him a backstory and it actually be satisfying.
Yeah, it's really
because he could have easily dropped the ball on that. And since everybody thought he was just like a physical form of a manifestation of death, or sort of like the Grim Reaper or even, sort of like an angel. There's all these theories, but I thought that to go against what people kind of expected for so long, and then also to give him like a solid backstory and also make sense why he's so aware of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Absolutely. At the end of the day, he's the last in line, basically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought that was like really neat how they did that.
Well, it's even crazier. It's even like, man, it's even crazier when you actually put it into like real life perspective too, right? Because like he literally just died too. Yeah, like it's just so like wild how the narrative plays into like his real kind of life too.
Yeah,
it's
that
fucking
scene
wild.
Really like kind of blur the line between like art and reality.
Yeah, and I thought that was like,
I was
that was really cool that Tony Todd, like, in a moment that is probably pretty scary, your final days or whatever, still be such a like professional and also just like know that people are going to take it that like, he knew people were going to take it that way.
Right.
And just to put that in there, to sort of, put art forward was just a really cool moment.
Yeah.
But I think that this movie would have been like, I was kind of hoping they did something that they didn't do. And I think that it could have been really cool. But so obviously like the formula of Final Destination is very similar throughout the entire series with one deviation of part 5.
This one too, in a sense, because it's not where, I mean, the first 4 movies is basically someone has a premonition, they get the fuck out of there and they take a bunch of people with them and then they start getting picked off one by one.
Right.
These 2 films don't follow that formula per se.
These 2 films?
5 and 6.
So 5 has the same formula, but it's just that they throw in the aspect of like, if you kill someone, you basically that whole thing.
That's what I'm saying. The formula changes.
They even mentioned that in this one that's a possibility as well.
Yeah, that was something that like they discovered.
Yeah.
Because it breaks.
I think that what would have made this movie even way fucking cooler is so you have the opening premonition on the sky view, which was pretty cool. I like that concept, but I actually was begging, like hoping that they would have a literal second disaster.
I was hoping for that too.
Because I think it would have just fucking took this movie to the next ass level. You know
what's really funny? I even thought the exact same thing while I was watching that too, because I wasn't 100% sure that they were just, I thought they were going to change up the formula quite a bit. But I mean, at the end of the day, I was still pretty satisfied. I mean, it was a long fucking, it was a really, really long scene too. Like it goes on and on and on. You're just like, holy shit, the carnage.
It was also very beautiful. Like I like the look of it, and like that. I like it set in the 60s and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I felt like it was really high tech for the 60s. I was like, did they have this?
I think it was the 70s. I think it was the 70s.
It was 1968, dude.
There was a little suspension of disbelief.
Nah, I mean, you'd be surprised at the technology that they had back.
Yeah, perhaps I would. So I went with it, but yeah, beautiful cinematography. Beautiful.
One thing that they like really leaned into too is like there's no like kind of like what's it gonna be, like you know exactly what we're here for. Like you're not tricking anyone. So I felt like the way that they like filmed it and edited was more like teasing you, like. But where's the ball gonna drop? Like, where's the chain gonna start by showing you all these little things to like really like instead of like just starting the disaster like I feel like it did in the other movies, it just like teased you for like it just built the tension that way.
They kind of do that in all of them, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think so? I felt like it stood out here. Maybe it's because it had the music, and then like the editing tempo like really picked up like as like you hit like the highest point of the song. I think like I was in like those D box seats too at Cinemark, so it was my like seat was going absolutely crazy.
I like how they keep ending these things on very dark notes too, because I'm a big fan of these type of endings. And like one thing I really did notice about this film, like, there's a lot of shout outs to like other films in the franchise. Obviously the end of the film has the logs, which we all know that's part 2. Actually there's a couple of the in this film from part 2. I think they even mentioned the one girl, I think the one that I think it's they mentioned the one that the one that drowns or the one that drowns, you know, kind of thing, because they even kind of mimic that whole scene and stuff. And then they do the poster art from part 5 with that really awesome kill in the hospital, which I think is really fucking cool too. And there's a couple other kind of like minor things, but like if you're a fan of the franchise, those are just nice little like, you know, nugs to the fans. Like if you're not a big fan, you wouldn't get those things.
Even the bus thing.
Yeah.
From part 1, you know?
Right.
But I think that also like the like book with all like the exposition stuff inside it, like even like some of the pages in there, I think references. Oh, it does
100%
stuff in the
and they never got away from the prick on the finger. I always like that too, because that's kind of like part of it, right? So I think that's really cool, man. They never got rid of that.
I thought it was overall like really solid, but the one thing that, as like a fan of the series, that was kind of bugging me is just that like so many people are acting like it surprised that this movie's decent when all but 4 has been good.
You know why part 4 sucks? And I was thinking about this because this movie, like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 5, and 6 were all shot in Vancouver, hence Hope and stuff like that.
Oh,
like
shut the
I'm not joking. No, just hear me out. All five of those movies are shot in the same locations. All 5 fucking movies. Part 4 is the only one that was shot in the States, actually at the fucking racetrack, that certain racetrack, whatever. But you got to admit though, like part 4, they were playing into that whole 3D gimmick at the time that was super popular and shit. But it's the way it's
executed. Part 5.
Yeah, I remember seeing part 5 in 3D and thinking,
but it doesn't. But part 4 to part 5, the way it's edited and stuff, like part 4 is just all in your face. It's so corny with the 3D. Yeah,
the effects are just bad in part 4.
Yeah, like the CG is really. I mean, all through the whole franchise, there's obviously CG because you can't really do a lot of those things without it. But part 4 CG is really, really fucking bad. But part 5, the difference is it's not so much in your face with the 3D than part 4 is. Like they really went for the gimmick. It was just constantly like doing all these stupid things. You know, I'm never a big fan of that, but you don't notice it when you watch it in 2D in part 5 as much. Like part 4 is just like,
I was actually hoping this one was going to be in 3D.
Dude, fuck 3D, man. I've never been a big fan of the gimmick, and that's the problem, man. Because if you're not and you watch this shit in 2D, like part 4, this is how it turns out. Right? At least part 5, that like I said, they did it better. It's not as like potent. It's not as, well, first of all, the effects are way fucking better in part 5 anyways. But part 4 is just like, there is some goofy shit in that one, but there is some good kills. Actually, one of my favorite kills in the entire franchise actually isn't even really a kill. It's part of a premonition, but is the escalator scene where that girl just gets evaporated in there. I love that scene, man. Because that always makes sense. Because as a kid, you always worried about getting trapped on or getting caught in the escalator, right? But then you actually see it on screen. You're like, fuck. Totally, 100%.
Yeah, that was one of the cooler things.
Yeah, that's one of the cooler things. Yeah.
I think like the cool thing about the Final Destination series, and especially this one, and they've done this before too, because even in I think one of the other ones, they do like a montage of like deaths in the end credits or something, and like sort of pay homage to the past films.
Yeah, part 5, and that at the end of part 5 always reminds me of because it has that really cool tie-in and it goes into like the montage of the kids or kills, and always reminds me of Freddy's Dead, which was always kind of like my favorite thing about that movie. That's like the best
part of Freddy's Dead. Dude.
It is. The montage at the end with all the kills is like the best part of the whole movie. You're like, fuck yeah. At least it ends on a good note.
Scenes, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that like the filmmakers and the production company really understand that like people go to see these movies because they want to see cool creative deaths.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
That's and they leaned into that in this one without making it too over the top either, like part 4. And
I mean, the end of this movie is pretty over the top, though, man. The law, like it gets pretty batshit towards the end of it and stuff. But and like rewatching part 5, like with the bridge, like, dude, you know how many times I have crossed the Lionsgate Bridge in Vancouver before, and it's like I can't even be on that bridge without thinking about that shit now. Like I've been on that shit hundreds and hundreds of times, and like it's just crazy how these movies are ingrained in your mind. Like you can never think about like flying without thinking about Final Destination. You can't be on a highway with logging trucks. And actually, I think I've told the story before. I think when we did the Final Destination franchise, but I had a friend who actually had an aunt that was killed by a logging truck, not with a log going through, but she was actually parked she was at a red light, and the side broke and her vehicle got crushed by logs and died that way from a logging truck. So like, you think about these things, right? But that's like, I mean, everything, like the roller coaster, which was shot at the P&E in Vancouver. Like that's another thing. If you ever been on a roller coaster, that shit goes through your fucking mind. Like I might go off this track. Like I love these movies for that, man. And of course, like everyone's thought about it at a racetrack too. Like it's happened before where tires have went into the crowd and killed people. Like it's literally legitimately happened. So like that's fucked up. And of course the bridge, like they pick the best disasters, like they really, like first of all, this new one, you would never catch me going up into that restaurant in the first place because I'm terrified of heights and I wouldn't be able to eat up there. I couldn't be up in there.
Oh, I would definitely go there.
See, my wife is all for that shit. Like she'll go up into the one in Toronto, and I can't do that shit, bro. Like it's too, because I'm terrified of heights, bro. I wouldn't be able to eat. I'd be so sick. I would have no fun. So I just don't do it.
But like, just don't be. I'm just serious. Like, what are you afraid? So you think you're going to die or what?
No, it's a natural fucking fear of, you mean to tell me you don't have one fear in life?
No.
Bullshit. Everybody has at least one.
Like what? I mean, like what kind? Like a phobia or something?
Yes,
I don't like dishwater.
I have the fear of heights.
Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes are pretty.
Would be scared of
it's a phobia. It's definitely a phobia. Like
I'm saying like for me, the things that scare me are things that can kill me. Like it's always been that way. Like if it can't kill me, right? But what are the chances of it killing you?
It's funny because
slim.
It's funny because when I fly, I'm not scared of being in a plane.
Because it's not, you don't notice that it's heights.
It's weird. Like I have no fear of flying, but you put me onto like a bridge and say you get stuck in construction, you're on a bridge. I'm like, get the fucking shit going, bro. Like just stop it. Get it going. I hate that feeling, bro. It's terrible. And like going up into like a space needle. Yeah, I love roller, but I like, okay, so that's where the trade-off is for me. Like I love speed. Like I love being on really like fast planes and fast cars and fast boats and roller coasters. I'm a speed demon. So it's kind of like this weird, I can trade in the height or the fear of heights for the speed of the roller coaster. So it's a trade-off, but like to climb up, like I've been on the Behemoth before where you basically climb up, like it's almost like a mile and a half. And then it's so fucking slow. And I'm dying on that climb to the top of this thing before you get ripped through. And you basically, like you end up going like 100 miles an hour or some shit. It's I think it's the 5th or 6th fastest roller coaster in the world. Actually, it's one in Toronto. And it is crazy, bro. But like the climb up to the top is painful as shit to me, man. Like I can't look down. I'm like, I'm just freaking out. But once you get going, I'm fine. Yeah. So all about the speed.
So where do you like rank it in the franchise?
You know, I thought about this after I watched, because like I said, I watched all 6, and I think I think part 2 is probably my favorite one. That one as a whole is just, I really like that movie. A lot of the characters are cool. I
also really like how they tie every character into the first movie.
Yeah.
In the second one. I thought that was really dope. How they did that.
That's really cool how they do that. Yeah. I think I might put it third. I think part 2 is probably my favorite. Part 5 is probably my second. And I probably put part 6 as my third. And then number 1, number 3, and number 4. Yeah, I just, as without overthinking it, but I would definitely number 1, number 2 is definitely number 2, and my last is number 4. So I don't know. I really like 5 and 6 are good films, man. I
go number 2 is the best, hands down. I don't care what Parker says about it being whatever he said. I don't even remember. It's easily just the best one to me. And then I would probably go part 5, 1, and then this one, and then 3 and 4.
Yeah, so we're pretty similar. And like
I have to watch them all again to really have an opinion, but honestly, this might contend for one for me.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I saw you.
My top 3. Top 3 are undoubtedly this 1 and 2. I don't know what order.
My favorite of the disasters is definitely like the logging truck is just horrifying to me.
Yeah, the logging truck's the best.
And that one even gets like really like fucked up too. Like when dude's like burning in his car and he's like, ah, like
dude, when that cop,
like that's a little like more intense than I expected.
When that cop
Final Destination movie.
Yeah,
it seems like there was more practicals in that movie in the first movie, and the deaths were like a little bit less elaborate.
Well, the funnest one to me is the dude in the apartment. Yeah, it's just like it just gets crazy. Yeah,
that was actually my 2-word review. Man, was the lottery ladder. He won the lottery ladder.
2-word reviews again,
dude. That made me laugh because I like rewatching the films. You kind of forget about certain deaths and shit. And I was like, that one's so fucking funny to me, man. Because the guy just like the worst luck in the world, wins the lottery, and then
that was the thing dies. About this movie, though, that I did feel like I missed a little bit. I felt like it had a smaller amount of like these traditional, like what's going to happen deaths. Like there was a lot of deaths, but they were kind of like deaths that fit in like within the story it was telling, and not so much like the like death hunts you down one by one thing where you're used to like 7 of those a movie as opposed to like 4.
You know what the crazy thing is, man? We always talk about like legitimately full on like solid franchises, and we always chalk it up to being like, Tremors and like Psycho are like 2 of the best, like most solid franchises out there. I guess if you kind of get rid of the fucking remake in there, but like this
and
one right
Motel TV movie.
Yeah, like for 6 films and 5 of them being really, really solid, it's up there.
And
man.
they're also all theatrical, like big movies too. And I feel like the more of those you make, usually the worse they get. Another thing that was a little bit too much for me was I was getting the vibe of Laurie Strode from the mom a little bit. I was like Laurie Strode from the Halloween.
She kind of had the same like character like design too.
Yeah. I was like, but Mason, how do you rank them?
I would do number 1's my favorite. It's just classic for me, I guess. And then number 2. And then I'd probably put the newest one at number 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you put number 5 at number 4?
Yeah.
I think I would have 5 at number 4 too.
And then 3, 4.
It's not because like they're bad though. It just, I think the other ones are better.
Yeah, I mean,
honestly, part 3 got better the last time I watched it. Like, I still don't think it's like anything as good as like the 5 or 2, but I think part 3 is like pretty fun.
No, it's got some good kills. I mean, they all got good kills. I mean, like I even said, even part 4 has one of my favorite kills. I said the escalator thing, and it's like the worst movie, but it does have its moments in it. It's just, like I said, it's the 3D effects, and yeah, but I mean, pretty fucking solid franchise, to be honest, man. I this movie could have been pretty bad because they hadn't made one in a while, and they could have just jumped the shark on this completely, but they really didn't. They stuck to the very similar formula, just added to it, and like, I don't know, man. And they still were pretty clever with the fucking kills and shit. So I'm happy with it, man. I like the shadows. Sometimes I find it can be corny at times where you're kind of giving these little nugs to the fans and stuff like that. But I think they did it really good. Like the MRI kill with mimicking the part 5 poster, I thought was just actually genius, dude. I thought it was really fucking well done.
Yeah.
Like I was like, damn, did they just do that, man?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's a fucking gory kill too. I was surprised that was in the theater. I was like, damn, dude, that's really, because it goes on, and this guy's just getting torn apart, and you're just like, holy fuck.
That was my favorite character too. That guy was funny.
Yeah.
So another thing about this series per se, like Tyler mentioned that like some of the kills weren't as like surprising or like set up. I do wish that they incorporated the like premonitions a little bit more. Like that's the fun thing about part 2 is she gets like some kind of vision, and then you're trying to figure out how that's going to play in.
Yeah.
And it's like a little puzzle. And there was not really much of that in here at all.
Well, part 3 was kind of like that, right? Because they were really trying to figure out how the deaths were going to happen, and the order kind of got a little bit fucked up. There's some like cool things in the narrative with that too.
Yeah,
so, like, this person was actually not sitting there. I like how part 3 actually played out. Like rewatching, I was like, oh, that's actually quite clever on how they did that. So pretty good.
Yeah, it's almost like this movie was teaching you like how to like recognize the signs, and you just being like a passenger and like trying to like figure out the signs.
Well, yeah, because it was different because this girl did not have the premonition. She just had a little bit of a gift, basically. You know what I mean? So another thing about this particular movie, so it's been 14 years or something since the last Final Destination. Which is
it's like 14 years. That's why I said it could have jumped the shark, man, big time.
Yeah. So you had 5 movies in 11 years and then a 14-year gap. So most of the people that like went and seen this probably never seen any of the other ones, I would say.
I can tell you one thing. I was sitting in the theater with a bunch of people that had no idea what they were watching.
Yeah.
100%,
So this was
100%.
a great way to like introduce them to the series, I guess. But I was like looking at the box office, and this one made $94 million.
Yeah, it did really, really good.
Yeah. So the biggest other one, believe it or not, is part 4 at $66 million.
Yeah, and that makes sense though too, because people were really into that 3D gimmick at the time. So I could see it.
That was like height of the franchise's popularity too.
Yeah,
it was actually. Yeah, it really was the height of the franchise. And then part 5 kind of bombed a little bit because everybody hated part 4 and just expected 5 to be just as bad. But critically, 5 was liked way more. But yeah, so I mean, it's definitely who is this, New Line? Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, it's New Line's 3rd most lucrative horror franchise.
Yeah.
Behind The Conjuring and It. Which is just sad to say that Freddy no longer is in there.
I can't believe it that franchise isn't even in the top 3. I mean, it would be if they would have made one after fucking 94.
Yeah.
But
probably
that actually is quite shocking. That's actually quite shocking because those were all theatrical films.
Yeah, but if you adjust it for inflation, it probably is.
Yeah, maybe. If that's just really, I'm kind of taken back by that.
The problem is the Freddy movies never made like a tremendous amount of money.
Actually, now that you say the It franchise, it actually makes sense because It 1 and 2 did super fucking good. Like those movies blew up.
Isn't it like the most?
Yeah, it's really up there in box office success.
Yeah, I think
the second one did better than the first one, right? The second one did better.
The first one did the best.
Oh, really? I thought the second one just blew it out because.
Okay, so just for comparison, it is New Line's 7th highest grossing film, period.
That's fucked.
And you know the movies above it?
What's that?
Let's hear 'em.
6 Lord of the Rings.
No way. No fucking way.
There you go.
Yeah, Return of the King, the Hobbit movie, the 3 Hobbit movies, The Two Towers, and Fellowship of the Rings.
Damn,
those are the only movies above it.
Wow.
So 6 Lord of the Rings and then It. That's wild.
Peter Jackson.
So which one did better, the first one or the second part?
It. The first one by a
Did it?
lot.
I thought
Yeah.
the second one did really because everyone loved the first one. Like, let's go see the second
I mean, when you like, it's like, yeah, the second one was a disappointment, but like in reality, it's their 9th best grossing film ever.
That's wild.
It's like it made 701 million, and then fucking It Chapter 2 made 473 million.
Fuck.
Wow, that's a big drop off.
Well,
Yeah,
but still 400 something million. How many movies can
Yeah.
say that they made that type of money?
Yeah.
What was the budget
Of it?
It too.
I'd probably say like 79 million. 79 million.
Still
did
big profit.
amazing.
Yeah, it's still big.
Yeah, it definitely made profit. It wasn't like a $200 million movie.
Yeah, but that it's like it's just fascinating to see like what is, you know, their most popular stuff. I mean, it's so weird because they've had their hand in everything. Like they also like so they've produced or co-produced 9 Nightmare on Elm Street films,
Mhm.
and then also 3 Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies and 4 Friday the 13th.
Look, speaking of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, fucking Arrow got a deal with made a deal with Dub B, so
yeah,
they got
With
fucking
who?
with Warner Brothers. So they're putting out the remake and the beginning on 4K. And I mean, that's obviously just the start because if they, who knows what other WB titles they got.
WB is New Line, right?
Well, I'm just saying what ones they, I mean,
I think
it's not like,
aren't they doing Ninja Turtles as well? That was a New Line film.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's a matter of what titles they actually acquired. It's not like they acquired the entire catalogs, right? So it's a matter of what they actually got. But I mean, I'm cool with the Ninja Turtles. But the fact that they're actually putting out the remake and the beginnings on 4K is pretty fucking sweet for me because I love the beginning. That movie is fucking amazing.
I love both of them a lot.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, you know, I'm not opposed to like doing more modern films and stuff like that. I mean, Arrow hasn't really been overly that satisfying, I would say, in the last few years.
To be fair, those 2 films really never got like crazy like love except for when they came out. Like there haven't been like a million editions.
I have that one Texas Chainsaw Massacre DVD set that had like, I think it was like 2 or 3 discs or whatever, came with the plate and stuff. It got a pretty fancy DVD release.
Yeah, that was when it first came out. I have that as well. I have 2 of those actually.
Well, it's gonna be a nice upgrade for the beginning because I never actually got the Blu-ray for that. It came and went so quick, went out of print and shit. I never got a copy of that, so I've been rocking it on DVD. So
yeah, I don't have a Blu-ray of either of those films. I don't think
I did buy the remake a couple years, but I got it for like $10. It was sitting on Amazon for like $10. So I was like, fuck, I'll upgrade. But
so you thought Ugly Stepsister was overrated?
Okay, so here's my stance on Ugly Stepsister. Yeah. Now, I know the term overrated is so ugly and people really don't understand a lot of the times when it's being used. I'm just talking, I'm talking in literal terms because everybody that I'd seen actually literally rate the movie, rated it super high.
I'm the only person that I knew that's seen it.
Well, I looked up a few other reviews. I'm you know, so you and a few other people, I'm just saying everyone that I saw reviews on it was really, really high. And I was like, okay. That's fine. So that when I use the term overrated, I'm just like, yeah, so 9s and 9.5s and shit. And even like, I think I even saw a 10 on it or something. I was like, man, it's a little high. I mean, don't get me wrong. I really like this take on the Cinderella story. I think it's really good, but it's a little fucking long for me, man. Like it runs almost 2 hours and I felt like they probably could have got to the nitty gritty a little bit quicker. We didn't need a lot of like, you know, that old bitch yelling at all of the contestants and shit for 25 minutes and shit. I thought there was some scenes and shit that just went on a little bit too long for me. By the end of it, I felt a little bit exhausted watching it. I was like, man, dude, that was a lot. That was a lot.
Because for me, I gave it the same rating as you, 8.5.
It's really well made, really well acted
like,
too.
Maybe I oversold it by saying this was my favorite movie of the year until I saw Sinners.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I'd only seen like 8 things. So, you know, it's like,
well, I wasn't specifically talking about you. I mean, we ended up giving the same rating anyways, but I mean, like just the fact that like, maybe it was the fact that people were saying it was not only their favorite or the best movie of the year and stuff. I'm like, damn, dude, really? But I can see this one definitely making some lists. Like, I mean, for me, I just felt like it could have been a little bit shorter. That was
if
my
this
biggest
doesn't
complaint.
make my list, it means it's a really good year.
Were you fine with the runtime? Because I felt it was a little bit long.
Yeah, you know what, dude? I also I did a triple feature that day in the theater. So I started with The Woman in the Yard, which was fucking so painfully boring. And then this movie, and I was just so like hype on it because it's so much better. Like, and it just made me be like, man, like this is, you know, I'm obviously like always going to champion American films, and I probably like American movies more than everybody else when it comes to, most of you guys prefer like foreign stuff. But when I'm watching it right after The Woman in the Yard, I'm like, this is why people love foreign films, because they're more creative and they don't feel like they're making a movie for the general audience ever, you know what I mean? So it's like the art first, and then like the marketing and like who you're making the movie for second. So I was like just very hype on it in the moment. And it also was pretty gross. And also I was just like seeing it on the big screen. It was very enjoyable because it's so much different from what I just watched at The Woman in the Yard, which was a very like kind of basic tame movie, and this one got cocks in it and stuff. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, the little bit context really does help that a little bit, right? Yeah, I know. I was surprised with the dicks on there too. I was like,
dude, a hard one too.
Yeah, I was like, that's fucking crazy. You don't see that very often. And it's just so, it's like subtle, but it's not. You're like, oh, wow, that's a hard rock.
It's like out there. I was like, well, I thought it, like at first I thought it was a guy's ass, and then like the dick just whips out. I was like, oh. And then I was like, was confused what was even going on until like the woman, I thought they were like trying to, like, he was like porking the horse or something.
Dude.
And then until like the girl turned her head, I was like, oh, I thought that was a guy.
Yeah, but the best part is the mom at the end.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Oh, I know, dude. What the fuck? Her mom's a fucking whore.
With the runtime, but I did also feel like this movie could have had a tighter edit.
That's what I felt like. I felt like there was a little bit too much.
Spent a little bit of time on like her fantasy, like where she'll start like dreaming of like, you know, the prince or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like,
I actually really like that weird stuff. I even would have liked more of that, but I'm kind of right with Moodz where I think they could have cut down on like some of like the finishing school stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I felt like that kind of played itself out a little bit. Added a little bit too much runtime.
Well, the thing is too is like I thought this movie was also like pretty funny, and I felt like if they kind of had
dude, the premise is fucked though, like with the tapeworm. Like,
I was done. Yeah,
dude, that shit was so fucking gross. You know me, man. Like I was gagging, bro. I was literally.
That's actually one of my fears.
Yeah, tapeworms is fucked, and it actually does work like that. Like it'll fuck with your weight and shit, man, really bad. But like the fact that
that's actually not even a like far from reality. Like there are people who literally like models and stuff throughout history that would ingest tapeworms to stay.
Yeah, this was like actually a thing people would do.
Yeah.
Well, it's like kind of like how bloodletting was a real thing too back in the day, but they just thought like purifying themselves, which it technically kind of does, but they would literally like bloodlet themselves, and it's kind of fucking wild.
Did you see this one, Mason?
I have not.
Okay. Oh shit!
Wait, but did you like it, Tyler?
Yeah, I liked it. I was trolling Carly when I was saying that the other day. I hadn't even seen it yet.
I when I watched it, I thought that you would like it a good.
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't think it was like incredible, but I also didn't feel like anyone oversold it to me. It was about as advertised, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I think for a Shudder movie too, I think that it's one of the better ones we've seen.
Yeah, in a while. Like I think they're both in the same ballpark, but like I would probably say Sinners would still be my number one of the year right now. But I would say they're in the same ballpark, and things like that could easily change on multiple watches.
It definitely got me a little bit more excited for the year. Like I feel like this year is going pretty well right now, considering we're not even at the halfway point.
Well, I've been kind of checking in on what movies played at festivals the last couple weeks, and yesterday at Canes, and there's just some stuff or Cans, not Canes, like the chicken place.
I think it's Cons.
Yeah, I think it actually is Cons. Yeah,
pretty sure it's Cans.
It could be. Whatever.
It could be.
I've watched a few new films since the last show, like obviously Ugly Stepsister and Final Destination 6, but I did watch They Call Her Death, which I was very interested because it's like a spaghetti western kind of exploitation film and stuff. It's pretty low budget, but I actually enjoyed it. It's pretty much kind of like a revenge film.
I saw that pop up on MB the other day.
Yeah, so it's basically a revenge film done exploitation kind of style and spaghetti western and shit.
Is this set in modern day?
No, it's set back. I don't even think they give you a year, but it's definitely not modern. No, it's like old school shit. It's like I said, it's low budget and stuff, but it's in the vein of like spaghetti westerns and like, you know, thriller and shit like that. It's not a rape revenge film. It's a revenge film, but it's not a rape revenge film. I thought it was pretty good. I could see people being a little bit indifferent on it, but just given the budget and stuff. But I thought for what they did accomplish, especially costume wise and gore effects, and there was I think the main problem with this film is people are going to look at it and be like, oh, the acting sucks. And I think that's going to be the number one complaint with this. And I can see where they're coming from. Some of the acting is stronger in places with certain characters than others. You're going to get that a lot in low budget films. But what they accomplished, though, it's not your typical low budget film where, you know, it's like, I mean, it looks old school, you know, it's a Western. So there's definitely some money on the screen and shit like that. So, but I thought it was actually quite fun. I would recommend it. I believe it's on Shudder. I think it's on there. So you can watch it on there. I was recommended a movie called Delicious. Have you guys heard of this one?
I heard of it, I think.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, I heard of it too.
I was not going to watch this until someone said that they left a comment saying they watched Delicious and it was like their favorite movie of the year. You know, it's one of those films that's not dubbed as a horror film. It definitely has horror elements. You go on IMDb, I don't even know I'm not even sure what the tags are, but it's definitely not horror. Overall, I was pretty disappointed with it. I can see why people would like this movie, but I wanted a lot more of the certain elements of it, but it's definitely well done. It's a highly well-made movie. And then before the show today, I watched Fear Street's Prom Queen. Now, did everybody?
No, I saw your rating on that, and I was like, ah.
I watched it.
But it doesn't surprise me either.
I actually don't see why this movie is getting like 1s and 2s. I don't get it.
Oh, I get. I didn't log yet, but I'm giving it a 2.
Okay, so explain yourself. I don't understand though. Like, I mean, this is pretty when it comes to like slasher. I mean, I wanted to like figure out the justification on this. So I was reading some of the reviews, and the biggest thing I kept coming across was the acting sucks. The narrative is thin, and I'm like, okay, but that's a lot of slasher films that we love. So what's the fucking problem here?
I mean, and the narrative was thin in the book. I don't know how much it follows the book.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think this movie just feels like a bunch of kids from today, and we're playing some 1980s music. I thought didn't
the other ones feel like that too, though?
I don't fucking get this, man. Okay, first of all, there's a lot of good elements to this, man. One thing that was kind of stupid for me is that I called who the killer was the first time I saw that person on screen. I literally called it out loud. Like I said, I can't remember the finer details. I wish I still had it. I'd fucking read the book, but so that was a little bit, but I mean, there's some twists and turns even with that type of, you know, with the killers and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't really understand the complaints that 1s and 2s though. What the fuck, dude? I don't understand.
Oh, it was horrible. My girlfriend thought it was horrible too.
So the kill count is pretty. I mean, it's over a dozen at least. I thought some of the kills were pretty decent. It's gory. I mean, it's mostly practical, but there's definitely some CG in there and stuff. But I thought the kills were okay for what it was. But it's standardized, you know, high school slasher shit where people are in a fucking, you know, in a setting and they're getting picked off one by one. There's nothing that we haven't seen before. What I thought was cool, man. I didn't agree with the acting. I mean, people were saying the acting was total shitballs, and I'm like, it's not really that fucking bad. I mean,
that was horrible.
Dude, I don't understand this, man. We watch movies all the fucking time with way worse acting, but I thought the music in it was really good. The score
that doesn't suddenly make this acting good. I'll say that acting's horrible. I
said it's fine for what it's a slasher movie, dude. It doesn't have to be fucking Oscar worthy acting.
Yeah, but it's also it's all right.
Like, what was so bad about it? Like, give me one example that was shitty. Fucking like everyone was fine.
I thought it was completely. It was just if you're gonna set a movie in 1980, you can't just make a movie about a bunch of 2025 kids and play 80s music. That was absolutely horrible.
Why not? Because
first of all, it's not. It just doesn't exist. That's
the setting. The setting is out of
cast kids from 1980. I'll tell you that.
But you can make them act like they're in 1980.
The setting is at a prom.
Every modern
I mean, but isn't that a complaint we get with most things? Like none of them really.
Okay, but it's like that's Michael. That's
but you're missing the fucking point. You're missing the fucking point. You're saying that like you can't just make this movie and play a bunch of 80s tunes. You're missing the point of the setting. It's a fucking prom. Yes, I would be curious to find out how much of the budget went into paying to getting the copyrights for putting the soundtrack together, because my God, dude, they picked some of the biggest 80s hits of all time. These are not cheap to license for a film. So I give them props for this. Plus, it's a prom. You're playing fucking hits at a goddamn prom. If you're not playing hits at a prom, you're a bad fucking DJ.
That's not my,
I don't think
you're not Funkmaster Freddy. Funkmaster Freddy was knocking it out the goddamn
but
fucking
I don't have
park.
a problem with the music. My problem is that's all they do. They're like, it's an 80s movie, so we played 80s music, and that's all we did.
Do you think that?
They're at a prom. What are you doing at a prom?
You're like they were.
I'm saying you write kids like they're from 1988, not write kids like they're from 2025 and give them all a bunch of modern
always the
problems.
problem. That's always the problem with these like.
And I'm going to
films
keep
that are
shitting on
made
them if they keep doing that. Make them move from 2025 if you want to do that.
So
what do you mean? What do you mean the dialogue wasn't of the times? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's more than that. It's just like it's these kids feel like they're just modern like Gen Z kids. The same Gen Z problems. It's the same.
What do you mean? Every character in this movie is unlikable. Even our leads aren't even that good. Like it's just a bunch of fucking baddies that nobody gives a flying fuck about. It's literally Mean Girls City. Like all these prom queens, except for our lead, like she's supposed to be likable, but she's actually a very bland character. But I'm saying this is no different than we see. This is not different than we see in a lot of fucking standardized slasher films.
Good either.
The characters aren't great.
I don't say.
Let me ask you though. Like, do you think like the characters in it feel like they were from the like they nailed the 80s?
I mean, I feel like they did a lot better than this. Like
because
as much
I
as
never
I make
felt
fun
like
of,
they felt like 80s kids.
Much as like I make fun of like what I call like Stranger Things syndrome, which I felt like that's kind of like what it was, but that was kind of the early beginnings of it. I think that feels like closer to the 80s than.
Do you know? Can you name a movie where they nail it?
Where they nail it? Like, I don't know.
Like a modern film that's taking place in the 80s?
Yeah, like where the kids specifically nail like sounding and talking and looking like kids from the 80s. Like, because I don't think they really exist, honestly.
I thought they actually did a pretty good job of in the movie we watched, Totally Killer. I think they did a good job of like kind of like satirizing it and like, but like they kind of leaned into like all those like stereotypes of the 80s that they would call problematic, and then they like kind of satirize those, but like also satirize like the oversensitivity of like a more modern character. So I felt like they did a better job like creating that atmosphere in a movie like that. It just feels like a movie with a 1988 skin on it to me. This one here.
Yeah, I mean, I could have, like, I haven't even seen the movie, and going in, I would think that would be the case, just because the other Prom Night movie or other Fear Street movies sort of had the same problem. Like, none of those actually felt like they were set in their actual time period. But
I disagree. I think the second one in 78 felt like it was in the 70s.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
I felt like the 90s one they did pretty well too,
which is actually a summer camp slasher film.
It's a little easier to do like 90s, I think, than it is to do 80s.
I agree. I think 90s.
I think it's because we have such a fucking amount of films from the 80s. We've seen thousands of films from the 80s, so we have this reference, and it's so hard to duplicate that to the point where it's like super believable. You know what I mean? Yeah, like the 90s, I feel like is a little bit easier.
The film that does like that type of thing the best is the WNUF movies. Again, it's not really kids, but I feel like they actually capture like the way people act and talk like pretty good.
I mean, having to complain about the music in the film, I mean, the actual score, I can't remember. It's like two brothers that did the score for the film. It's really good. It's like obviously an 80s synth score that I thought was really awesome. But I mean, again, it's the prom. You're playing hits at the prom. Like these songs you expect to fucking hear. Like,
yeah, I'm not criticizing the songs. I'm criticizing the movie for only like putting the songs in the movie and saying like, that's enough. It's the 80s, guys.
Well, I mean, one thing about the film that did surprise me, though, I was expecting this movie to be like this huge build up to the prom, but it actually the majority of the film actually takes place at the prom.
Yeah, so that was something I also kind of like. I did not like it, but I didn't feel like, I thought it was kind of like it was kind of odd how like it was just like, okay, we're at the prom, and like it didn't seem like there's any type of development up until that point. I kind of just hate the way these Netflix movies are shot. They're like the same. It's like the same like master shot, close up, vid shot, repeat, and I fucking hate it. It's awful to watch, and it just sticks out to me in all these movies that they do. It bothers me. It's got ugly boy cinematography. There's all these things that they just stick out to me. I don't like. I don't think
it's that much worse than anything that. I mean, I like all three of the Fear Street films before this than this one, but
I would say it's around.
It's pretty standardized stuff.
I might like it a little bit more than the third one in the original trilogy, but I probably put it around the same mark as that one.
Did you see it, Mason?
I'm not currently subbed to Netflix.
Oh damn!
I boycotted it like back the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, and I just haven't resubscribed since. I will though, and I want to see this one, but I actually was assuming this one was going to come out around October, and then all of a sudden it was out, and I was like, oh shit. So
it actually makes sense for it to come out right now because it's prom season. They actually planned it right around prom season. Yeah. And I only know that because like I own a salon and we get a lot of people in there.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, even though I didn't like it, like I don't like mind these like kind of like cheesy Fear Street movies, so I'll keep watching if they keep making them.
Honestly, I mean, the ratings, it just seems a little bit like, I'm not saying it's like overly that great or anything, but I was surprised at like how it's kind of a mean spirited film in a sense, because like all the characters are very unlikable and people just get murdered like left and fucking right. It's kind of crazy actually, but they do one thing. And actually, I guess it's probably the mid-credit scene that they tied into the other Fear Street films.
That's cool.
So they do that. And I was like, that's kind of cool. But I honestly, I mean, for me, I love 80s pop music. I like 80s synth scores. I like stupid slasher films. There's nothing here that I dislike. For me, I know it's weird. I'm like in my mid 40s, but I still love this shit. I don't give a fuck. I had a fun time watching this today. And I was like, I just couldn't believe that people are giving it 1s and 2s. I'm like, this is not a 1 or a 2 film. It's just not.
What'd you give it, a 6?
Yeah. It's fine. It's it's above par in my opinion.
I give it a 4, not like
it's totally.
I give it a 4 out of 10. I give it like 2 Letterboxd.
But there was surprising things for me. I thought the body count and the blood and some of the gore was actually a little bit higher than I thought it was going to be. But I was surprised again that how much of this actually took place at the prom. I was expecting like 2/3 of the movie to be a build up to the prom and kind of bookend it. You know what I mean? Like have all the kills at the end of the movie. But the pacing of the film is not overly that bad. Actually, one of the first kill in the film, I was actually quite surprised that person died that quick in the film. I thought that she was going to be like the main baddie. Interesting. Thought that was kind of interesting, but because she was really hot. Actually, I will say one thing, like everyone's really hot in this movie.
Great jailbait. Need some sleaze.
Yeah, a lot of good.
If they're gonna put that out, because like it felt like a PG-13 plus movie to me again, where they just said fuck a bunch of times, and like that made it an R. But like if you're gonna get an R rating, like use the R.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like Cloud on the Cornfield.
Well, that's the problem with Final Girls for myself. If you want to talk about PG-13 films, I think Final Girls has such an amazing premise and it's really fun and it's executed quite well. But the problem is it's held back by its PG-13 rating. They can't do what they really want to do and get out of what being an 80s slasher film is, which is boobs and blood and gore. That's really what it's all about.
Especially because it was a fucking direct-to-video movie.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And that's what doesn't even make sense to me. If you're going to make a directive...
Well, it's because the guy... was holding it back? Brandon talked about that. Like, the guy made it for his, like, mom or something who...
yeah. I remember reading about that, too. Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't know about that, but, like, that
there was movie...
You definitely knew about it before because he said it on this show, but you probably forgot.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, for sure. But, like... I mean, it's one of those films where if you did make that film like a straight up 80s rated R film, that could have been fucking like modern classic, dude. Like, I'm not saying it's still a good movie. It really is. I like the premise. It's fun.
Yeah.
But it could, I mean, you add in the boobs and the gore and just that whole oh my God, that movie could have been crazy.
Doesn't it have the dude from Workaholics in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does actually. Yeah.
That dude, Workaholics is the most like one of the most underrated shows of all time.
Dude, their podcast.
That's like one of those shows I liked a lot at the
hilarious.
time, but like I'm afraid if I watch it again,
No,
I think
it still
it's
holds
cringe.
up. I think it still holds up.
We've been
I
watching
love
King
it.
of the Hill lately, and it's like even funnier now.
I love
Anybody
King of the
watch
Hill.
Righteous Gemstones with him? Anybody?
Mm-mm.
Oh my god, with Danny McBride and John Goodman. Nobody on HBO.
Nope.
It just ended. The series just ended. It had 4 seasons, but it's like like Joel Osteen, the like Christian religious guy or whatever. So it's just a satire on these big religious families or big mega churches.
That's kind of funny.
Shit. But oh yeah, it's hilarious. I mean, it's Danny McBride, so it's hilarious. And HBO, but recommend it.
I went and seen the worst movie I've seen in the theater. In a
Oh
really
yeah,
long
I want you to
time
talk
last
about
night.
that. And I made a comment last night about this too, and I'm like, the only reason why JP is putting this in his top 10 worst theatrical experiences of his entire life is because it's fucking Canadian.
Is it Canadian? No. I
think the Weeknd's Canadian.
Well, the weekend is Canadian. I'm assuming it's a Canadian production because if he's starring in it, it's got to be Canadian production. I didn't look too heavily into it. I just know the Weekend's Canadian.
What's it called?
Hurry Up Tomorrow.
Hurry Up Tomorrow, bro.
Yeah.
This movie.
I'm not even overly familiar with his like work. Like his
I don't know. I didn't know anything about it.
I just know that he's
nothing about
massive.
him.
Like he's a big time star.
I just know my coworker like absolutely loves him, and she's totally fits the profile of a girl that would love him. So
Yeah, I get the feeling he makes music kind of for girls.
Well, dude does well. Just put it this way, man. He's like on world tours. Like,
yeah, I'm not hating. I'm just like that seems to be. I could be off base. I've never intentionally listened to his music. I think I've probably just like heard it enough in my life. I could pull one of his songs out of a line and be like,
there's
that's
definitely
The Weeknd.
one song that I think everyone's
I know
heard, but
that
you
song,
probably don't
Blinding.
know. Yeah, I don't know what it's
I know
called,
that song
but
Blinding Lights. That's it.
Yeah.
That's like the only song I could be like, oh, this song is called Blinding Lights. Like I could recognize a Weeknd song, but I couldn't tell you the name of it.
Yeah.
So
I've never
it's
listened to it.
it was not a Canadian release, by the way. It is
crazy. Okay, interesting.
But dude, it's literally like the way what I took from it. So the start of it is just like The Weeknd, which by the way, what a stupid name for one guy.
It sounds like a band, doesn't it?
It does. I thought The Weeknd was multiple.
I've
people.
always kind of just found The Weeknd
Me too when I first
funny
heard it.
because I just love uncut gems. And like anytime I hear think of The Weeknd, I just think of that scene of Adam Sandler like walking away when he catches his chick and he's like, "Go fuck The Weeknd."
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
So it starts off with him like getting ready for like a performance, and he does his like little routine where he like lifts weights and stares at himself and make noises in a mirror, and then he gets his little jacket and talks to his
He does that
people.
awful thing with his mouth where he makes that weird noise. And
and then
close up of it.
and then he goes and performs, and then like and then we see Jenna Ortega's character like burning down some house, and a lot of it is just like very like artsy in terms of like they're just showing you things that I don't think are supposed to be literal. And a lot of like the way that I interpreted the movie is like this is this guy's mindset on film of like the pressures of being a megastar artist and the chaotic nature that it brings to your mind and the pressure of being a megastar and like and fulfilling these requirements and things like that, and then it gets a little Annie Wilkes throughout the movie. I thought it was truly atrocious.
Right.
Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, there was a point in the movie where I was like, all right, let me try to actually like take this in, because at the beginning, I will say like, it does have like a nice visual flair to it.
Yeah.
But like, I thought like when he started singing, like, I thought it was a joke. I was like, wait, is this like actually like supposed to be like him singing like well? Like, I don't know. It doesn't like, maybe that's because like, it was more actual voice with like no music, like filters and stuff or something. But I don't know the guy's music, so I don't know like if he sounds like this or not. But I thought that for one, it's so hard for me to like get on board with like oh, I'm such a tortured artist thing with people that are millionaires. Like it's tough for me.
Do you take it as he was literally talking about himself, or is he just talking about artistry in general? Like he's just
I think that this is a very personal movie.
Yeah,
I think
that's where like it's the context of this movie, what everyone like I think views it in is gonna like differ a lot. Because that's one, like, I can definitely see somebody watching this movie and being like, this is the most like cringe, overindulgent vanity project I've ever seen in my life. I hate this.
Pretty much.
Like, I absolutely like understand that take. I watched the movie from this perspective. I don't know, like I said, I don't really know anything about his music. I just watched it as this is like, I completely separated myself that this was a guy making a movie. You know what I mean? I just watched it as just somewhat like this fictional movie. I don't know anything about the music outside of this. He's just a fictional artist. So whether his music is good or not.
But how did you even do that whenever it's like, he's the star, it's his music, it's about like, it's like tough to even like take that.
I'm so disconnected.
Does he literally play himself in the movie?
They never say The Weeknd, but he plays Abel, which is his real name.
Oh, okay. So
yeah. They never actually say The Weeknd, I don't think.
Interesting.
But they like reference his music in real life. So yeah, he is playing himself.
Well, that kind of changes
he's definitely
things.
playing himself. But I'm so disconnected from like that world of music and him as like a personality that it wasn't like hard for me to like detach myself from like this being a real thing. Like I just viewed it because I don't know anything about it as a completely like fictional artist, and I'm watching in the vacuum of like this is a fictional story. And I realized within the first couple of minutes like this movie doesn't actually have a plot. This movie is just like strictly surrealism. And clearly, like I think the most obvious thing that it's trying to communicate is like the like pressure definitely being like the biggest theme of it. But I think there's like a little bit more to it, but it's also like I think it's again one of those movies that it doesn't actually mean anything specific. It might mean something completely different to The Weeknd, but that like doesn't matter to me because that's not what I take away from it.
So what did you like about it?
What I liked about it is I thought it, like, just to be fair, like I'm not saying like I love this movie. I'm still kind of unsure like how I feel about it. I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10 right now, but it's gonna probably like the second watch will probably matter a lot. Just because
I imagine it's going to go down a lot.
The thing is, and I always say this too about watching movies in the theater, that like I'm also watching this like in a theater with a great sound system. Like
and I'll give it credit for that because it did have like great like sound, and even visually it was very appealing. Like even just like the way that it was shot, like some of the like backstage stuff, like in the hallways, like it felt very like Neon or A24. In terms of like just
who actually
like
did direct this movie,
atmosphere, you know what I mean? It has an atmosphere to it. It really does.
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing I liked about it. A lot of the times with these movies that are just like high surrealism, like it sounds like it's going to sound ridiculous to like compare it to, but I almost feel like this is like a modern, like this, like someone trying to take like a modern version of a movie like The Color of Pomegranates, where it's really like there's just like zero plot and it's all about just a series of like residences and images and ideas that are just.
I mean, there is some plot though.
It's very broad. It's like it's more. I would say though, it's more about like a fractured like ball of ideas that like kind of replay like in a circular way. And none of it's meant to be taken literally.
Does this thing have any horror elements whatsoever?
Yes. It's got like
it goes Annie Wilkes in the final act. Like there's like a fan who is like obsessed with his music, played by Jenna Ortega, and she kind of like captures him. Yeah, but there's more to that, and honestly, like I think that there is like the funny thing about this, I think there is like a pretty solid movie in here. But I think that it really just like felt like somebody like sucking their own dick a little bit. And it was tough for me with that. Like, and I think that like the core idea of it, like to show what goes on in the mind of someone who's totally engulfed in art and performance, and like take those images, the sporadic images that are in your head, and place them visually on a screen, I think is a cool idea. And there are parts of it where I think that is effective. But overall, I was just like, me and Carly just started making fun of it after a while, which, I actually considered walking out, which I never do in movies. Like, I've only walked out of one movie in the last like 10 years, and that was
Bye Bye Man.
Slender Man. No, I like Bye Bye Man.
Slender Man. I think that was the one. Yeah.
Speaking of Bye Bye Man, that movie was written by Jonathan Penner, who is a Survivor player. And I never realized this, but he plays like the doctor character in Amityville 6.
Wow.
The Dollhouse one?
It's about time.
Oh, that
the clock one.
Okay.
Which honestly, dude, Amityville 6 is like really fucking dope.
Oh yeah, I love 92. Yeah.
So if anybody
probably a list
that one yet,
I just rewatched.
Dude,
I rewatched it recently too, man, and that movie is honestly probably one of my favorites in the entire franchise.
It's super fun.
I think that I honestly wouldn't be shocked if it made a list on our show.
I think 92 is going to be pretty widespread again.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think there's going to be a lot of variety
that could qualify, but like none that are like, I mean, there's some, but like not an overwhelming amount of movies in list contention that are shoe-ins. Like there's going to be like a big like tussle for like.
Well, even like the last show we did, like 59, like surprisingly, like there was only how many films that made all 4 lists, and like. You know what was crazy? I was thinking about this actually a couple of days ago. Tony's number 1 wasn't even on any of our lists.
It was on Tyler's.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, so it did make 2 lists. Okay.
I actually felt kind of bad afterwards for not including it. I think that
I was struggling because I left off
so early.
Yeah, I rewatched it. I rewatched it the day before too, and I was just like, I just can't. I really like it, but I just felt like the movies that I had on mine were I just preferred. Like Kaltiki, I rewatched. I wasn't even gonna rewatch it, and it just bumped right the fuck up for me, man. I'm like, man, this movie's awesome.
Yeah.
So, but it just changes things, man. Like rewatches it's a big deal, man. But 59 was cool, man. That was a fun show. I wish more people. I'm glad that people.
59 is a lot cooler than Hurry Up Tomorrow.
I think that I'm very glad
about that Hurry Up Tomorrow that really was a dagger in it for me though. Is I feel like the acting overall is very good, except for
his acting is a bit rough, bro.
And he's
not an actor, bro. Like
I know, but he only not even much. Like it's kind of really basic stuff. He has like 2 scenes in the entire movie where he actually has to act, and it's rough.
Dude,
like,
does he remind you of Michael Jackson a little bit?
A little, yeah, I guess.
Isn't that
like
weird?
when that scene?
Well, The Weeknd is kind of like a modern. He's kind of like that, you know. I mean, we had Usher after Michael Jackson. We got The Weeknd.
In his dressing room, like making a phone call, and he just sounds like a little girl crying on the phone. You're kind of just like, bro, this is not it.
Yeah, like dude.
I tell you one thing though, Usher is a way better actor than probably.
Usher definitely would have done a better job.
The Usher's done a couple films.
He was set it off. Musicians transition to like acting pretty well, like Ice Cube, Ice-T, like Usher, like you mentioned. I think LL Cool J is pretty dope in acting. Like,
man, I just finished reading Ice-T's autobiography.
Justin Timberlake, really good actor.
Oh yeah, JT.
Yeah, no, he's fucking Justin Timberlake, man. I have mad respect for he's funny as fuck, dude. Like
he's in that
when he did the dick in the box thing, like on it really became because he was doing the shit with Andy Samberg and stuff with the actual music and stuff, but like he's really funny. Like he's
I actually fuck with Justin Timberlake.
His SNL was funny as hell, man. It was funny as hell.
T.I. is a decent actor as well.
Yeah.
So also like just really quickly, while we're still in 2025, the 2 trailers showed in the theater that I thought looked really cool. Have you guys heard of this movie called Him?
Yeah.
No.
It looked kind of weird, bro.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah,
there's an older film called Him, but there's a band called Him.
I think it's a new Neon movie.
Okay.
It looks pretty weird, bro. I don't even understand what it's about.
Like psychological, you think, or like?
Yeah.
I literally have this. We were talking about Ice-T.
It's something about like a football player, dude.
That artwork.
Marlon Wayans is in it.
Oh yeah,
which is pretty cool.
Marlon Wayans. Oh wow.
And what'd you say?
I was gonna say, like, he shows up in like a dramatic role every once in a while, and you're like, damn, it's weird to see one of the Marlon brothers in there doing serious shit. But
yeah, well, look at the
Requiem for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah. I know
he was great in there. So this is a Jordan Peele production. It's like this black football player, and I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it looks really cool. Dude,
I saw.
No, it is Universal Pictures. Sorry, it was.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for this.
Yeah, so I have no clue what's going on in it.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for that.
But another film that they showed a trailer for that I thought looked really solid is The Long Walk. However, I will say,
I can't believe you actually watched the trailer, bro.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't watch the trailer because they do show a lot of footage. So I would suggest
I'll watch trailers in the theater if they're not horror related. I'm just like, it doesn't bother me then. I'm like, whatever.
I stopped watching trailers for a long time, but I just gave up. I just don't feel like doing it.
I mean, if The Long Walk's on, I'll just pull my phone out and be like, I don't need to watch the minute on this shit. I'm fine with it.
So it's okay. So obviously people know what The Long Walk is. It's a Stephen King story about a group of like young men, teens or whatever they join like a walking contest in like a dystopian United States, and they just have to walk forever until there's only one left. George Romero famously was going to do an adaptation of this back in 1988, and then Frank Darabont was going to do one in 2007, and then Andre Ordovelle, who did Autopsy of Jane Doe, he was going to do it back in 2019 and dropped off the project. So it looks like it's finally got made. But I will say, dude, like, I think that it's so funny. The guy who made this made like all the Hunger Game movies and I Am Legend.
That's honestly a good thing though, because that means that they feel comfortable giving this guy a budget.
Yeah. Well, it's just like he does dystopian shit. It's just funny.
Oh, true. Yeah, true.
So one cool thing about the look of the movie, like, I don't know, like, to me, it looks like it's set in like the past, like, I don't know, 70s or something or earlier, but it's obviously like dystopian. So it's like, I like the look of it, basically, is what I'm saying. Like, I like that it looks like older. I'm actually, this might be like the one I'm most excited for now.
I can't remember what year Stephen King actually set that story in.
I think it was like 79, because that's when the book was written. I think
so. It was set in modern times, but it was in dystopian times. Like the world had gone to shit at that point.
I've never actually read the full story.
It's interesting because dystopian usually, like, when you set a film, it's always like in the future. Yeah, it's like the future.
But I thought it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm honestly really excited for it. I can't believe how many times this movie has been talked about being, adapted and then never happened. It's kind of wild,
especially because it's like one of those movies where or one of those stories that is pretty respected by King. Like, I think a lot of people like that story.
I'm surprised that the Frank Darabont thing never panned out, because he had done, he did The Mist, right?
The Mist, yeah.
And which was, even Stephen King said, that ending was fucking better than his.
Yeah, I mean,
famously said that. So interesting.
The Conjuring trailer looked pretty cool. It might suck, but I was intrigued by the trailer.
I still haven't seen the third one. I've seen the real life documentary on that actual story that they did the third movie for.
Yeah,
the story's cool. The story's fine. I just never saw the movie. But
definitely the worst of the franchise so far, I think.
Yeah, I didn't really care much for it, honestly.
I didn't really like the second one either. I thought the first one was really good. I'm not like an overly huge fan of The Conjuring. I even said to the wife too. I said, like, oh, man, the whole Conjuring universe, I'm not like the biggest fan of. I thought The Nun 2 was just, man, dude, like, that was so soulless, man. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I think at this point, I am most looking forward to Weapons.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just looked up that Him movie, and I'm fucking really intrigued now. And it comes out in September, just in time for football season.
There's another movie Together that's doing really well at the festivals right now.
Okay.
We should get later this year. It's got Dave Franco and Allison Brie in it.
I think I heard of that one. Yeah. Dope. Sure. What else?
Yeah, I guess there was another, like going back to the whole summer camp slasher thing. I think there was another one like just came out this year called Hell of a Summer. Have you guys heard of this one?
Oh yeah,
I saw it. It was okay.
I was gonna go see it, and it kept getting shit on, so I skipped it.
It's like a Gen Z movie.
Is it decent though? Because everybody I've heard talk about it, which is younger kids, they all said they liked it. So
yeah, well, I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was like awful. I didn't find a lot of it very funny, but there's a lot of younger kids in my audience, and they did.
But does it? But does it do what?
Like it's the target audience.
But does it do what it's supposed to? Like, does it have a decent summer camp atmosphere and good kills?
Not really.
What is it?
It's like it's one of the Hell of a Summer.
Hell of a Summer. It's a 2005
It's kind of like
summer camp film.
It's the same type of setup where it's like the camp counselors go like the day before or like
to set up camp.
To set up a camp, yeah. And then there's like this one kid who's like a dork that's never like got along with the rest of them because he's a weirdo that really loves summer camp, and he's like 24. Hey, you're on way too long. And he's kind of the main character you follow.
So there's no kids at this camp then? It's about
it's all like young, like
that's the Stranger Things guy.
Yeah, like it's like that age, like late teens, early 20s.
So that's why it might have like the kind of vibes of the Y2K last year.
Yeah, I would say that. The kid, I think that kid Finn Wolfhard, I think like co-directed and wrote it.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, that Finn Wolf guy.
That's the really skinny kid from
with the long hair.
It's Richie from It.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And he also is that kid in the two newest Ghostbuster movies.
Yeah.
I like that kid.
I never got into Stranger Things, man. I couldn't get past I think episode 4 or 5 of the second season. I gave up.
I watched the first season.
Didn't get into it.
I liked it. I didn't really like the second one. I slogged through it.
Yeah,
but I watched the third one just to watch it, and I was like, okay, that was a good way to end it. And then they were like, we're making a fourth one now. At that point, I was pretty tuned out by it, and I just never watched it. It started to get weird to me because the kids were like 15 years old, and they started to like really sexualize them, and it started to like make me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's not cool.
That's one of those shows like The Walking Dead where like when it first came out, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. And then like once like the rest of the world started like loving it and like acting like it was the greatest thing in the world, I'm just like tuned out because I'm like, I just can't be with these normies.
Pretty much. I love those comic books too. Great story, but yeah.
Yeah, the problem is with The Walking Dead for myself was in the later, like there was some decent seasons and stuff, and there's some pretty brutal shit that happens, but I always felt like watching, like you'd watch an episode and you're like, wow, it's pretty good. But then they would have like 2 filler episodes that would just follow a whole pile of other characters and it would go back to this. And it just felt so imbalanced because you cared about some characters and you didn't care about others, but they would really, they would go into the whole thing. It was a lot of, storytelling. It got fucking boring, dude. It got really, really boring. I still haven't finished it. Like I'm in season fucking 8 or 9 or something like that. Like
now there's all those spin-offs too. Like Jeremy sent me
I'm not even going to bother with the spin-offs.
Jeremy sent me
looking at
Jeremy sent me a thing that like showed like the timeline of including all like the spin-off shows, like because some of them take place before like season 6 of the Walking Dead and like stuff like that. And I'm just like, dude, this is like literally so much. I didn't realize there was this much.
Yeah, it's stupid. Well, don't they have?
If people still watch it.
Well, The Walking Dead's done.
My pap is a huge fan of it. Is it done?
Yeah, I think they already did the last season. I think
lots of like old people love it. Like that's what I've come to find. Like
older people. Old people.
Yeah, like my grandfather loves it.
They're in for the long haul.
It's because it's because The Walking Dead isn't because The Walking Dead is a drama. It's not about zombies. It's about characters.
That's the best zombie movies, though. Literally, the best zombie movies are exactly described as that.
Exactly. I'm not saying
they're 2 hours long.
Yeah, but I mean, Day of the Dead is a character. I mean, it's about the characters, right? But like, Actually, in fact, all the fucking Romero films really are about the characters. But
dude, just looking at this, bro, just check this out. 11 seasons of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
8 seasons of Fear the Walking Dead.
Fuck, that's been on 8 seasons.
That's 8? Damn.
It's crazy.
What I know about
2 seasons of World Beyond.
I'll never watch those, spin-off those. I won't.
1 season of Tales of the Walking Dead. 2
Purgatory
seasons
viewing.
2 seasons of Dead City. 3 seasons of Daryl Dixon. And then 1 season each of The Ones Who Live and More Tales from the Walking Dead.
Dude, I haven't even heard
how
of
many
half of
porno spin-offs.
I haven't heard of half of these fucking series, man. The Daryl Dixon thing, like, how do they play that? So he obviously survives throughout the whole Walking Dead thing because they have that spin, or do they set it in the timeline of, and it's just like his story? I don't know. That's kind of weird because there's a lot of Daryl Dixon story within.
I forget like how
he's not even from the original story. It's great.
I don't even like his character. I'm not even a huge fan of that character, man. I mean, I think that's honestly one thing about The Walking Dead that's always bugged me is that I'm not a big fan of so many of the characters. Like, I don't even like, what's his face? The main character, the cop, Rick. I'm not even a big Rick fan. I think he's kind of a douche. Like, it's fucking weird. It's always been a character driven piece, but like half the characters is annoying. Like, the only one I really like is, what's her name? Minosh? She's the one with the sword.
Oh yeah,
Michonne. She's fucking awesome, man. She's my favorite.
Made it out of the first season.
She's my favorite character out of
any characters. The first season. Damn.
Yeah, she's my favorite character out of the entire show.
What's episode 4? I was
Michonne, that's what her name is. Yeah, she's fucking badass.
I remember when that first came out though, and I was just like, "Damn, they putting this on regular TV." Like, I thought it was pretty gnarly fucking effects, some scary fucking zombie shit.
Yeah, I think so.
Fucking kiddos are watching and shit. I was like, are y'all good?
Well, I've got that season 2 bust, right? You know, the thing with the screwdriver in the eye. It sits on one of my speakers out in the other room. So I'm always looking at that shit, but that's really, really detailed release. It's really fucking awesome.
Greg Nicotero, man. Man's a god.
Yeah. Good stuff. So we are here talking about summer camp slashers. So why don't I did a quick little Google here, and surprisingly, there's not a lot of like top 10 summer camp slasher lists out there. I was quite taken back by this because I guess it's a little bit specific, right? So I found one through the website horrorbound.net, and it's called simply, when did they do this? Oh, it's 2019, whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so this is top 10 summer camp horror movies. So I'm assuming this is probably going to have Friday the 13th on it, I'm assuming. But anyways, number 10 is Bloody Bible Camp.
Yeah.
Is that Reggie Bannister in that?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. That's fucking awesome. They put that on the list. It's pretty cool.
I can't remember if I've actually seen that or not.
It's really fun. It's low budget, but it's fun.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I logged it.
Yeah.
I gave it either a 7 or 7.5.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. So I rewatched it a few years ago. It's pretty fun. Okay, here. Number 9 is Friday the 13th, part 2.
Word.
Of course, that's got to be on the list, right? Number 8 is Cheerleader Camp. Wow. Crazy.
All right. The very fact that Cheerleader Camp, they're saying is better than Friday the 13th, part 2 is like,
well, it's just a list for dummies, dude. Who knows?
They might. Well, all right.
Is it ranked?
As far as a real camp, though,
it does say there is numbers here. But anyways, number 7 is Madman, which is like I already alluded to in the intro earlier. I said that is not a summer camp film. That is a fall. But anyways, I digress. We're not getting to specific semantics here. So number 5 is Sleepaway Camp. That makes a lot of sense. Number 4 is Sleepaway Camp 2, Unholy Campers. You know what's really funny? I like Sleepaway Camp 3 better than part 2, but anyways, that's just me. Number 3. Oh, wow. Number 3. I always forget about this movie. I completely always forget about this film. Number 3 is Stage Fright. The
remake.
The infamous.
Is that a remake or just same name?
Nah, it's the same name. It's a musical. It's a musical slasher film. Probably one of its, probably the only one I can think of. But it's fun. The songs are dirty and ridiculous. Number 2 is The Burning. And number one, wow. And number one is Friday the 13th, part 6. Because I mentioned, it's funny that I mentioned that in earlier in the intro about that being the only one with actual kids in a functioning Friday the 13th film, which is my personal favorite Friday the 13th film. So, and yeah, that's not my list, but that's the way it went down. Interesting, actually.
I mean, I think that like the best, like in terms of feeling like camp, is probably Sleepaway Camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm. All right, here's another one. 13 summer camp horror movies you need to watch. Now, this is probably super generic, but anyways.
All 13 Friday or 12 Friday the 13th.
So number one is, of course, Friday the 13th. Number 2 is Sleepaway Camp. Number 3 is The Burning. Oh my God. Number 4. Oh, wow. Number 4 is Fear Street Part 2, 1978, which 100% is a summer camp slasher film. Number 5 is The Final Girls, which we just mentioned. Number 6 is Madman, not a summer camp film. But number 7 is Summer of '84. What?
That's not camp at all.
Yeah, no, that doesn't. That takes place in the suburbs. What the
Dude, do you think they just like Googled summer and didn't watch any of these?
I think that's a tell right there.
It literally takes place in the suburbs. It's about a fucking serial killing neighbor.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's great, but
this is crazy, man. Number 8 is Cheerleader Camp. Another list with Cheerleader Camp. That's fucking wild. Number 9.
Just Googled this list anyway. So
number 9 is Camp Slaughter. Have you guys ever seen Camp Slaughter before? I can't remember. It came out maybe the mid 2000s.
I feel like I have seen it.
Does
it have like a little creepy thing on the cover, like all bent over?
Nah, the cover actually. Oh, it does say 2005. So it honestly, the cover art's pretty shitty, but it's a time loop movie.
Did we not watch that for 2005?
I
told you it does have the little creepy thing holding the.
It says 04 on Letterboxd, but
is it 04 on Letterboxd now? Oh yeah, so yeah, we do IMDb. So, but yeah, Camp Slaughter for 2005. It's a time loop thing. It's pretty fun. It's low budget, but I get why it's on here. It's kind of fun. And number 10 is Bloody Bible Camp. Number 11, Cabin Fever. Interesting. Number 12.
I mean, they're definitely.
Is this just camp or slasher list?
Yeah, I think this is kind of.
It's
supposed to be camp. It says
that's
13,
like Evil Dead would be included.
13 summer camp horror movies you need to watch. It doesn't even say slasher. Okay.
Yes, summer camp.
So now that makes the Summer of '84 still doesn't make any fucking sense. But
yeah, it's not a summer camp movie.
Number 12 is You Might Be a Killer.
Oh, that's a fun one.
That is a fun one. It's like super meta. Number 13 is Stage Fright, and that's it for that. So yeah, I mean, very similar kind of list. Yeah, but yeah, shockingly enough, not a lot of summer camp slasher lists out there. Pretty wild. I was very shocked by that. So, but definitely familiar with all those type of movies. So, yeah. Anyways, you guys want to get into these reviews or what?
Mm-hmm.
All
right. So that is going to conclude the intro. We'll be back here momentarily with some 80s standalone summer camp slashers.
Yo, who this?
Yo, Moodz, it's your boy, the ill-mannered funky child, calling you to remind you that the featured reviews on this episode contain spoilers.
Aw, yeah, man, that's right, brother. Thanks for the heads up, playa. Now go back to being an unproductive asshole.
Fuck you. Now tell your listeners to stop being so dumb, silly, sensitive.
Yeah.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, so getting into the featured reviews here on episode 295, 80 standalone summer camp slashers. We're going to take it all the way back to 1981 with a film directed by Tony Maylam, and it is called The Burning. You guys ever heard of this one before?
No, first time watch.
So Harvey Weinstein is actually a writer on this film.
Mm-hmm. It's like one of the first things they did.
It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So infamously, The Burning is actually starring Jason Alexander. which I always think is. I think it was actually his first movie that he.
That kind of reminds me of Dave Z.
You know what's funny? I didn't notice this today until I was looking at the credits. Everybody obviously mentions David Alexander, but nobody mentions Holly Hunter is in this movie.
Yeah, it was her first film, also. Actually, I think. Yeah,
it was like when I saw she was in it, I was like trying to look for her, like who was in. Like eventually I recognized her voice, but it doesn't look like her. She's actually like a little bit chubby, and she looks like really young.
Yeah, she does. It does not look like her in the film whatsoever, for sure. You got Ned Eisenberg in the film too. I think did he just pass away? That guy? Yeah, he passed away a couple years ago. Actually, I remember someone posting some shit on like. So he was kind of like a character actor. There's a bunch of people that went on to do.
You got that kid from Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yep, that's right. All right, so synopsis: abusive former summer camp caretaker Cropsy, horribly burned from a prank gone wrong 5 years earlier, lurks around upstate New York summer camp Stonewater with garden shears and bent on killing the teenagers responsible for his disfigurement. You know, that could have been worded so much differently.
This is a Cropsy tale.
The Legend of Cropsy.
The other famous film that does the Cropsy mythos is Madman.
Yeah.
But one thing that Madman has that this doesn't have is that awesome Madman song.
Yeah.
This one has
that is super true.
I do like the music in this movie, though.
I mean, the score. I mean, the actual
Madman song.
Yeah, but the burning.
I can't recall it, but I'll take your words better.
Like the theme music for the burning is fantastic. It's really, really good. I wish they actually had to use it a little bit more throughout the film. They use it in subtleties, but it is really good. It's actually one of my more favorite like American scores. Not even sure really who did it, but it's really good. It's really good. But so the burning, you know what? The burning question is, what y'all think about this one? Mason, let's start with you. What's your thoughts on the burning?
Well, so back in like September, me and Tony and Dan all did this top 50 non-franchise slasher, kind of in recognition of what the Exploding Heads was doing back then. JP remembers.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But weren't you not able to do that show or something?
The Exploding Heads one?
Oh, yeah. Like last minute, you could.
I think my grandfather almost died that weekend.
Yeah. I would have loved to have done that show, man. And I was asked a couple of times. I was like, man, it's just, we were so busy with this. There's so much prep. We're doing like so many shows. I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, you know, it wouldn't have been the hardest prep in the world because let's face it, like, you know, the majority of like 1,000 slasher films in the 80s I've seen.
Right.
So
I just was really intrigued by the idea to explore non-franchise. Well, really their rule was no more than 3 to be eligible. But anyway, but The Burning was my number 2 on that list. It's just legendary, not because of, you know, not only because of the Weinstein connection, but just the effects by Tom Savini. I like that he chose to do this one over Friday the 13th Part 2, and the cast. Just the vibes. Yeah.
So you've seen this movie a lot of times.
Yeah.
Is it like I mean, obviously being number 2 on your list, like it's a go-to film for you?
Maniac?
What's that?
What was your number 1?
My Bloody Valentine, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
That's my favorite standalone slasher film too.
So yeah, it was my number 2 on the non-franchise, but overall it's my number 30. So still like overall slashers. But yeah, just for the story and just, it's basic, but it's just an easy go-to slasher.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hilarious one-liners, sex, you know.
Tyler, what's your history with this? Have you seen this movie many times?
Yeah, I've seen this a bunch of times.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies. I kind of talk about this era sometimes where I like first started like kind of getting into like the internet bubble of horror, probably around like late 2000s, early 2010s. And one of the things that really kickstarted it was that documentary,
Rise and Fall of a Slasher Film.
Yeah,
that was a good one. That's a good one.
This was one of the movies that was like really prominently featured in the documentary along with Sleepaway Camp. So that was kind of like my like level one of like going out and like watching, like seeking out horror movies. So this is one of those movies I saw like pretty early on when I hadn't seen like much outside of really like what would have like just been put in front of me my whole life. So because of that, I think I've always like just like looked at it like, oh, this is supposed to be like one of like the best slashers. And I don't have like a real like deep cut knowledge with slasher movies, but watching it this time, I kind of always have the opinion like, yeah, I think this movie might be like a little bit overrated in terms of the slasher canon. But kind of watching it this time, I definitely appreciated it more than I thought I maybe would have. And there's something about this movie where it kind of just like gets to business and doesn't really bullshit around that I like. A lot of the time, people bring up the characters. Actually, you know, it doesn't really not bullshit. It actually does kind of bullshit around now that I think about it.
Yeah, that's why I said that's really
Hold
interesting.
on. Yeah, I was like, hold on a second. That's not right. Because I remember actually now watching it now, like, hold on. There's not even like a kill in this movie. It's 40 minutes. But I don't know. Like, I guess like it just paced well enough and it's short enough that I kind of appreciate it for what it was. It's kind of like a hangout movie. More so than like your regular slasher. There's not like a giant plot to it. It's pretty, yeah, it's pretty straightforward, but it's simplistic what it does. It's simplistic in like what it does, but it's kind of like that blueprint for your standard slasher, but it does it well enough, like in all the things that are important.
Definitely.
For me, my history with The Burning is actually extremely similar to Tyler's. So I grew up watching Friday the 13th and Elm Street and, sort of the tier 1 slashers. But I missed a lot of the Maniacs and the Burnings and the Madmans of the world they didn't exist in my video store really. So
really? You never saw Maniac sitting in there?
They didn't have it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember seeing it either.
Yeah, but I do know that I watched that same documentary, The Rise and Fall of Slasher Film. So I remember when I first got out of high school, which was like 2010. I took my last year of high school.
That makes me feel old, man. I graduated.
It makes me feel old now too. That was 15 years ago, bro.
I graduated in 98, bro.
Damn, dude. I was in second grade.
Crazy. Yeah.
Like I saw that this video the other day where this kid was like talking about this guy was in a like kindergarten class and he was like teaching like, oh, name some classic songs, and the kid's like, "A Millie" by Lil Wayne. He's like, dude, he's like, that song came out in 2005.
Yeah, dude,
and then the kid's like, my mom listens to it all the time. I was born in 2018. And the dude's like, what the fuck? How am I talking to someone born in 2018 right now?
I know, right? It's crazy when you think about it.
It's fucking nuts, bro. But anyway, I remember this is a very nostalgic period of time for me now, thinking back. But I got really like that year that I took off of school, like and did it from home. I spent a ton of time watching like movies and TV and stuff like that, and video games and stuff. But I had the Netflix DVD by mail, right? So I would get 3 DVDs sent at a time. And I just started going through like a list of like all these movies that I had never seen from like the 80s mainly. And like stuff like Night of the Demons and like The Burning. And I remember getting The Burning and I was like, that was all right, I guess. But like I expected it, like I had heard it had such notoriety, like, oh, Tom Savini like didn't do Friday the 13th Part 2 because he did this movie instead, which has the better kills and stuff. And so I was all hyped for it. And then I remember watching it and just being like, I just didn't see like what the big deal was about it. Now, the same thing happened with Sleepaway Camp, except for the opposite. I watched Sleepaway Camp and I was like, that was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I definitely prefer Sleepaway Camp to this.
When I watched Sleepaway Camp, I remember I rented Ice Cream Man, which I had seen before, and Sleepaway Camp, and I was at a friend's house, and he fell asleep, but his little brother was there, and me and him stayed up watching those two movies. And when Sleepaway Camp got to the end, bro, we just both like our mouths just dropped. We were just like, "What the fuck?" Like it was crazy. And then over the years, Sleepaway Camp has just become like so beloved by me. But The Burning always, I picked up the Scream Factory Blu-ray when it came out, watched it again, and I was like, yeah, I still feel the same about it. But I actually watched The Burning a few months ago. And I think I saw it at the drive-in a few years ago, I think. I feel like I did. I'll have to double check on that. But I watched it a few months ago too, I think. And that time watching it made me like it more than I had in the past. And this time watching it again, I think I finally am comfortable with The Burning, and I do think it's really solid. I think that the Cropsey character is pretty cool. I like the idea of like these kids pranking this shitty, maintenance guy or whatever, and accidentally burning him to death.
Caretaker.
Kind of fucked up, And then even when they go to the like hospital and they're like, "Hey, check out you want to see something crazy? Take a look at that guy." And then he sticks his arm out and it's like fucking nastily burned. And then I actually like the camp setting. The characters are fun and likable, even though like Slater's like pretty annoying to me. I think people like Slater.
Glazier?
I don't
Slater?
think I don't. It's not Slater. It's
Glazier, that guy.
Glazer.
Yeah.
Do people like Glazer?
I don't know.
Nobody likes Glazer, man. He's fucking obnoxious and fucking.
Yeah, like this fucking guy needs to chill out, bro.
Yeah, he does need to chill out.
But I think that like I used to criticize a little bit like Tom Savini for not taking Friday 2 and this movie not being like people always say like the raft scene is like so amazing, and I'm like, bro, Day of the Dead is so amazing. Like his effects in there are so amazing. The raft scene, although I do think it's cool because it's like a bunch of kills at once. Dude gets his fingers chopped off. Dude gets stabbed in the neck. Like you can see the seams on a lot of it. It's shot in the daylight and stuff like that. So the effects to me don't like look like Tom Savini's best work, honestly.
No.
But I do think it is a dope ass sequence.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it.
It's super dope. And I think I was hating on it a little bit more just because people were hyping it so much. But it is a dope sequence. I just don't think it's like his best shit he's ever done, for sure.
So The Burning for myself is a film I've seen many, many times, and I grew up loving this movie. I'd seen Friday the 13th before The Burning. Again, I'm much older than you guys, so I was watching these movies in the late 80s, early 90s and stuff. The Burning, to me, when I first saw it, I felt like I was watching Friday the 13th, which was not a bad thing. I was digging that shit. Being a young kid, man, I love slasher films, so I was always digging this shit. I watched it many, many times throughout the years. I remember, I think MGM put out the DVD probably in the early 2000s. Grabbed that shit. I never had the VHS. So I watched that for years. Scream Factory put out the Blu-ray early, right? JP 2013, 14, whatever it is.
It was one of the early releases.
Releases.
And it was like such a sought out title because I think the DVD was super out of print and people just didn't fucking have any means of seeing it. So it came back to life with the Blu-ray and stuff. And that's when YouTube was really popping off with this type of shit, and everyone was just sucking the Burning's dick. Like, oh, finally it gets released, and everyone's just like talking the Burning and like making all these lists, and it was fun. It was really, really fun. So I always loved the Burning growing up. I always thought it was a really good film. And once I got older and older, it started like watching the film with a critical eye. It has really gone down for myself. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a bad movie or anything. I see it differently. I think The Burning is almost the epitome of being overrated. I do agree with Tyler on this. And again, I use the term loosely, but people do really praise this film as being like one of the all-time best slashers. And okay, so my case for this movie being what I'm talking about is I think it's a really imbalanced film. So we have this really awesome scene in the beginning of the film where this prank goes wrong. We get this awesome fucking effect where this dude's burning for like a few minutes and shit like that. It's awesome.
Yeah, I love that shit.
It's a great opening sequence. We all love these stunts and these effects and stuff because it's real. It's real burning and it's awesome. We get this really goofy, hospital scene where this guy's, showing off this new doctor, like, there's this burn victim here and shit. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But I think the opening kill, like the first kill in the film, which has nothing to do with the camp, where, it takes place 5 years later, whatever. And, Cropsey kills, he kills this hooker in a hotel room. It literally
feels so out of place.
It does. Every time I watch it, it feels like it's totally out of place for his character to even be doing. It makes no sense.
Like,
anyways,
it's like, bro, like, I expect this from Joe Spinell.
Yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense because I wish they had have edited the film where you get this opening sequence, we get maybe this kind of goofy hospital scene, and then it cuts to the camp. I wish it had to skip this like hooker kill or whatever.
It's like Friday 13th Part 2, like the opening when Adrian King's in like her apartment, and it just feels so out of place in the rest of the franchise because Jason's like walking down the street in the suburbs or something.
Yeah. Okay, so we get this kill, and it cuts to the present day, and we get introduced to about 4,000 different fucking characters in this film. And that's one of the oddball things about this film that I never realized watching it when I was younger, is that there's no bona fide protagonist in this movie. There's no specific person that you're really following or really cheering for or whatever. It's just a bunch. It's like this ensemble cast that for the most part it is actually pretty likable. Like JP said, most people are really likable. George, Jason Alexander. That's like a reflex for me to call him George.
You ever see somebody who eventually goes bald and you're like checking out to see if you can see any signs of it early on?
Yeah, and this is only a few years before Seinfeld started. Like he went bald, like at such a young age. It's crazy. But yeah, like it's like an ensemble cast. There's no real bona fide, straight up protagonist in this movie. I mean, Todd and his girlfriend at the end, they become kind of like the main protagonist in the film that kind of takes care of Crosby.
Yeah, because I feel like for most of the movie, I guess I feel like I'm following around the kid from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but like I don't like that kid at all. Like
no, nobody likes that kid. But you know what like rewatching it this time, and one thing that really pisses me off is that one of my favorite characters in the film actually is Jason Alexander. He's fun.
Me too.
He's got a lot of good lines and stuff, but he never makes it on the canoe trip. He's not
in the movie much.
No, like he's in the first half of the movie, and then when they take the canoe trip over, and then all the shit goes down and stuff, he's actually not part of that film. And it's kind of crazy, but this movie is one of those films that like has so many damn characters, and it really lacks in kills. And it's so fucked up because Tyler alluded to this. So we get this pointless kill in the beginning of the film with a hooker. The next actual kill in the movie comes at the 50-minute mark where a girl gets her neck slit. And then 10 minutes after that, we get the infamous raft scene, which kills 5 people. So now we're down 7 kills. This movie only has 10 total kills in it. So we're at the hour mark in the film, and we get this 5, literally half of the kills in the movie happen within, I think the scene is about 7-8 seconds long. We get 5 kills. It's not very long. We get chop, 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 chop. We get phalanges flying everywhere. We get fucking girl get stabbed in the head. The scene is fine for what it is, but we get 5 kills right there. And then a little bit after that, we get our annoying tough guy character who leaves his girlfriend. She gets killed off screen, by the way. And then his death scene, I think, is the best one in the film that people never seem to talk about. I think him getting killed is actually the best kill in the whole scene, besides probably maybe the axe in the head on Cropsey. I don't know. But it's an imbalanced film for myself. Like I said, you get 5 kills that happen in one scene, and they're pretty much all in the latter part of the film. You spend a lot of time in this movie with a bunch of characters that it's just kind of going through the motions. It really is kind of going through the motions for the most part of the film, but then they leave the best characters, in my opinion, back at the other campsite, and then they take the canoes to this other part. I'm like, it's so weird rewatching this film going, damn, dude, like, how does Jason Alexander's character not make it over there? It's just kind of weird. But my biggest problem with the film is that it's just imbalanced as shit. A lot of slasher films, you know, will have these opening scene with a kill, and then you'll have a kill every kind of periodically, every 10, 15 minutes kind of thing. This one doesn't do that. Like I said, 50 minutes. You get 7 of the kills, 70% of the kills, not including Cropsey, happen within basically a 10-minute period. It's kind of a problem for me. I mean, I'm not saying that the effects are terrible or kills or whatever. I think Savini's effects are fine for what they are, but I will go on record saying that I think that the raft scene is a little bit overrated. It really kind of is. Like, my favorite kill in the movie is actually, you know, the tough guy's kill that happens later on, 10, 15 minutes after that kind of thing in the bush. I think that kill's pretty good. But again, it's one of those films where, you know, the imbalance plays a big part into it. It really fucking does for myself, man. It really, really does. Underutilizing of the score. There's a lot of fun characters that just don't get their time in the film. You know, like I said, Jason Alexander's character is really fun. He's got a lot of really good lines in the film. He really does have a lot of really good lines, and just he's not there towards the end. Then the film decides it's going to have Todd and his girlfriend be, you know, these, you know, take the leads and, you know, take out Crosby and stuff.
Save the kid.
You know, and like, I feel like even that end battle isn't even really the greatest thing in the world either. Like, rewatching it, I'm like, okay, fine. I love the action, the head. It just kind of happens really fast. I don't know, man. I mean, I really don't. I really want to. Like, I came from a time where I love this movie. I've seen it so many times over the years. And it just, again, you know, rewatching it, I've seen it twice. Actually, I've watched it twice, literally in the last month, because I watched it once out of my cabin.
Yeah, this is
on my old MGM DVD, because I have
time.
all my old slasher DVDs and shit that I don't want in the house. I keep them out of my cabin because if I want to watch a movie late at night or whatever.
It's like a good
yeah. So I keep that shit out there and whatever. But
I had a cabin.
I felt like I was like, you know what? It's summertime. I feel like I need to watch The Burning. So I popped it in. I was like, man, dude. And then I really watched this with a critical eye, and I was like, this one kind of bugs me. It's the construction of it. It really is the construction of it. I think it's totally imbalanced, and that's really what kind of plagues it for myself. It's not a bad movie at all. I think the acting is really good. There's a lot of fun characters, a lot of things that are happening that are really good and stuff, but it's just the imbalance. And like, you know, we'll talk about, you know, even, you know, like the next movies. It doesn't have those issues. You know, we're not sitting around forever dealing with these characters and you know, a bunch of dialogue and stuff, which is not overly uninteresting. Everything is happening in the film. It's kind of funny. Like when you know, the tough guy gets shot in the ass with the pellet gun and stuff. I think that's a fun scene. It's goofy, it's stupid, but we're going through the motions forever. We're just kind of figuring out what this movie really wants to be. I would have loved to have seen this movie done a little bit different, where Cropsey is like actually stalking at that point with all those potential victims. You think about this. There's like literally like 400 characters in this movie. Like, there's so many characters in this film that have lines. They literally have lines in the movie that end up living because they're not part of the second half of the film kind of thing. Mm-hmm. There's potential to have so much body count in this film. There's 10 kills. That's including the hooker and Cropsey and the 5 in one scene. Think about that. It's so mismatched. You know, people always used to say, I remember back in the early days of YouTube, like you would talk about The Burning, people are like, man, the movie's super overrated. And you're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Like, fuck the fuck. But like, when you really watch it with the critical eye, you're like, and you compare it to other films and stuff, like there's a lot of better slasher films, or a lot of other slasher films that have better constructions. They have the kills periodically. It kind of makes it a little bit more interesting, right? So I don't know. It's not a poorly made movie whatsoever. I think a lot of things are really good about this. The one thing that really does drive me nuts is the underutilized score to the film. It's so good. It's really, really good, but they don't play it enough throughout the film. And they play interpretations of it at certain points too, which I find is a little annoying to myself, because I just want to hear the actual score. There's one scene where they do, and they cut out instruments in it. And I was like, okay, it is what it is. But I'm pretty sure I just came off sounding like a total asshole and like I hate this fucking movie. I really don't, but I just wanted to give my piece with it, because I thought it was a great opportunity to really analyze the movie because, like I said, I watched it a few weeks back and I had this like epiphany about it. And I was like, this is perfect to talk about because it's one of those films for me that it's not a total 100% go-to. But based on construction, it really is. Yeah. So, and by the way, who the fuck names their kid Woodstock, by the way? Seriously. Stop with that.
Was it a nickname? It had to be a nickname, right?
I'm thinking it might be his last name. It's got to be his last name. I don't know. But, yeah. So
Woodstock.
Fine Woodstock.
Yeah, I mean, I think you summed up a lot of like how I feel about it, but I think, I mean, obviously when you're talking slasher films, like kills are one of the most important aspects, along with like a cool killer. I think the killer is like cool enough. It's no Jason.
Yeah.
But Props is pretty cool. I think Madman Mars is a little cooler, honestly.
I feel like Cropsy gets killed a little bit too easy in this too. There's not really a big battle at all. Like he just kind of, he's there and then he's done. But then again, he does take an axe in the fucking face. So it's pretty nasty. But which I like that. I like that effect. So, but I don't know. Yeah. And I think, another thing too, like personally, I prefer, and this is nothing, I'm not trying to take anything away from the burning because the burning is pretty much I think it's all set in the daytime. Like every scene is actually in the daytime. With the exception of the opening scene. With
next one.
Where okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Even that, like there's not really a whole lot of atmosphere to that. But I mean, I guess the opening scene with Cropsy burning and shit is actually set at night, but for the most part, this movie's set actually at night and shit. Actually, one thing I actually laughed when I was watching this movie. I'm like, this is the most 80s thing in the world. You have like 8 canoes out there with like 30 or 40 people and not one life jacket to be found.
They don't need it.
That's funny because there's this very unfortunate incident that happened in my home city, actually. So my aunt, her ex-husband, he actually was part of this too. So there's a place in my city called the Barren Lakes. And there was this very unfortunate incident, like in their graduating year, they were in grade 12 and they were on this Barren Lakes kind of trip and stuff, canoe trip with the school. And like 5 people end up dying. They were on the lakes and stuff, or whatever. And fucking just shit went down and died and stuff. And I'm like, yep, because they didn't have fucking life jackets anywhere. I'm thinking to myself going, damn, dude, it can happen. But I find that kind of crazy, but anyways, but yeah, the burning. Mason, you want to chime in
for the ratings?
No, I mean not even that. Just to say anything against what I said and stuff.
I feel like I give it high praise because it's number 2, but on the non-franchise anyway. But it's just not a film that I have really engaged with analytically in that way, to where I could see everything that you're saying, maybe it does take a while to get to the kills, but I just like it as a hangout slasher. Everything that I really look for in slashers, it has. I can put it on at any time and have a good time with it. Comparing it to the wide range of slashers, I could think of so many that do it better. It's just easy for me to enjoy and not care to critique it as much, but it's I could probably, if I really looked at it that way, I see exactly what you're saying, and there's so many better ones I could choose from, and I could see it being overrated. It's just an easy go-to for me for whatever reason.
I mean, it's fair enough. I mean, everybody has their films that they love and and cherish and stuff like that. But again, we're here to talk about the film and kind of critique it. But I've just had this epiphany with the film the last couple of times I watched it, and I'm just I just really needed to get it off my chest. I mean, it's not against anybody that loves this film. I mean, I still like the film. I think it's a good movie. I just think the balance of it, the construction of it's a little bit off. And if they had it done a little bit different, I think it would work so much better. But, I mean, it is what it is. And we're here to talk about the way it's made and stuff. And that's what I'm going to talk about. So I really don't actually in the third act where Todd and I can't remember his girlfriend's name. Anyways, when they're battling Cropsy and stuff, I never liked that they keep flashing back to the opening scene where the kids are like banging on the windows and being all obnoxious. I don't understand why they need to do that, because like for the viewer, we've already seen that. Is this supposed to be coming from like Cropsy's mind or what? What the fuck is that? I don't understand why they flash back to that in the third act, because we've already seen it. It doesn't like literally add anything to, you know, anything that's going on. I just don't understand why they do that. It just felt like they were just kind of padding out the time where I'm like, come on, man. It drove me nuts the last 2 times I watched it. I was like, makes no fucking sense to me. Kids are banging on the windows. I'm like, you're in the third act and you got this battle going on, and all of a sudden it's like cutting to these scenes. I'm like, you don't need to do that. You really don't. But so
I think that what Tyler said earlier is like a group movie. I think this does play decent in a group. Like, I feel like I did see this at the drive-in.
You know what?
I was thinking this would be a really good drive-in movie. I was watching it too.
Well, this is not a bad movie. If you're just starting your night and you guys are, you know, grabbing some beers and stuff like that, it's a perfect movie to start drinking, because by the time you've had 7 beers, the first kill happens. Then you're like, fuck yeah, man, this movie's fucking awesome. It's fucking amazing.
By the time it's done, you're going to need another run to the store.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw this at the Mahoning Drive-In for Camp Blood 6 back in 2020.
Nice.
Yeah.
35 millimeters. So.
I just feel like, wanted to ask you guys, like, I mean, with the amount of characters that are in this movie that are actually like viable, like line characters, you know, the body count is so minimal, right? Like I said, like there's potential to have so many kills in this movie, and it just doesn't deliver. And that, I think it's one thing I just keep thinking about. I'm like, fuck, there's a lot of slasher movies where, you know, you have like a group of like 10, 12 people that go to like a setting kind of thing. And you know, the body count's going to be about that, right? Maybe with the exception of you add in some like cops or whatever, like the odd character that comes in and out or whatever. But in this movie, there's like so many people that live. It's fucking wild. It really is wild to me.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that live.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, that's what happens at Sleepaway Camp and Friday 6 as well, because the sheer amount of people.
Yeah,
of course.
What about in Friday 2, where like half the bar stays at the bar?
But in Friday 6 though, the construction, like there's kills right from the start of the film right through the end. Like there's really not a lot of downtime.
Because the Friday 13th films are the best made.
Yeah, and you know, that's what I'm saying. Like it really engages you right from the beginning, and plus, you know, this is where like zombie Jason comes. There's a great resurrection scene. Like Friday 6 is fun. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous, but it's fun. But there's not a lot of downtime, is what I'm trying to say. So too many characters live. Obviously we don't know that Jason Alexander is going to be a big star and stuff, but like he seems like he's one of the main protagonists in the film that like maybe he was only contracted to do like half the movie or something, because he's not in the second half of the movie. It kind of sucks for me, actually, because I really liked him, man. I thought he was really good. You could tell that guy was going to be a star right from that point. Just good actor, man. Good stuff. But yeah. You guys have anything else? I didn't want to like steal the spot. I just really need to get some shit off my chest.
I think I'm good.
I'm sure this is going to get so much dislike. This is going to get so much fucking hate. I know it is, because people love this shit. But like, if you can't understand where we're coming from, and we're being very logical about it, we're not fighting over it and shit like that. Like, it's just difference of I'm not trying to say what I said and say like I don't like this movie. I like this movie. I do. I like this movie. So that's the stigma that comes with saying that something's overrated. People take it to heart and they're like, "Oh, you mean you hate that movie?" I'm like, I didn't say I hated it. Did I say I hated the movie? No. If I hate a movie, I will tell you that I fucking hate the movie. Right? It's a term that's used a lot nowadays, but I'm trying to use the term how it's supposed to be used.
As as possible. Yeah,
exactly. That how it's supposed to be used, right? And this is a movie that has definitely been on that radar for years. I remember a lot of people saying this shit like back in 2012. It's overrated. But I couldn't see it. And I'm like, no, it's not. But we weren't doing the show. So.
Honestly, I think there's just like such a small pool of like slashers, like standalone slashers, especially that people actually see, that this is just like one of the most popular, like better movies from that small pool.
I mean, it's totally true. And that'll play into the factor of like Twisted Nightmare, because we not only, I feel like that's a movie that's just totally underseen. You know, I mean, there's some people that, oh, it's terrible, but you know, it is what it is. But people say that about every slasher
either
film.
way, like there's no way to argue that like the astronomical amount of more people have seen The Burning than
That's of course. I just feel like
yeah.
There's certain slasher films I feel like just don't get the praise, and because they're underseen, just underseen. So yeah. But if you were to see a lot of these other type of films and then compare them together, it really kind of changes the dynamic of what the slasher film really is doing, because there's other films that do the same formula. You know, maybe the filmmaking isn't as good, but they have a different kind of structure that kind of works better for the slasher lover. Like you got to kill every periodically, like, you know, every 5-10 minutes kind of thing. Like there's some movies that just have ridiculous body counts. You know, they don't worry about the character development. I mean, it's funny because even The Burning, for a film that has so many characters, doesn't really have a lot of technical character development. It just has a bunch of characters just talking about shit and doing shit.
Getting mad that they're not getting laid. And
it's not really a lot of personal stuff. It's just a bunch of characters that are having conversations about shit that you talk about at camp, like getting laid, right? Because who isn't going to talk about fucking getting laid at camp? I mean, have you guys ever been to a summer camp before?
No, I have not.
I did once.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it.
So you got denied?
I went to a week long like hockey like training camp.
Oh, dude. So you played all dudes. You played toast and shit. So that's just gross.
No, I never played toast, but I know exactly what you're talking about. There's kids from all over. Like there's a lot. It was mostly it was in Windsor, Ontario, that I was in. There's a lot of kids from Canada, obviously, but there was a lot of Euro kids that came over, and like they were like proud to display like their European fashion sense, and everyone was kind of like, dude, what's with these guys in capris and fanny packs?
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny, man. Fanny packs in your time, man. That's
they were wearing, like, it was the European guys, like they were just like wearing like literally like girls capris, what we would consider girls.
It sounds very flamboyant, actually.
And
like fanny packs in the 2000s.
I swear to God, they were like purple fanny packs too. They were like one of those like flamboyant colors.
Wow.
But they were like legitimately like tough, like hockey players.
See, I've never been to a hockey camp before. Like I never played high level. Like I always played house league and stuff. I never wanted to play anything more because hockey players actually kind of gross me out. Knowing being Canadian, like hockey players are gross, bro. They're gross. They play toast for real. So fuck that. But like actually summer camp shit though, man, there was a place around here called Camp McGinnis that I went to probably 5 or 6 times growing up. It was pretty cool. I got sent to Nest Lake Bible Camp a couple times as a punishment, and it plays out exactly how it sounds. It was a Bible camp, and it was for shitty kids apparently. And I got sent there. I'll tell one story. They were fucking mean there. They were honestly super mean at this Bible camp, which kind of plays into, you know, the hypocrisy of religion, right? So there was this one specific night where they had peas with a meal. And I personally love peas now, but when I was this age, I'd never eaten peas really before because my mom grew up eating a ton of peas and she hated them. So she never made them for us. So anyways, I'm at this camp and we have our meal and stuff, and I wouldn't eat the peas because I didn't know what the fuck they were and they looked gross. And I was like, I'm not eating that shit. So the guy's like, okay, fine. So he literally made me watch everybody eat their desserts. They have like drumsticks and ice cream cones and fucking sundaes and shit. He made me watch everyone just eat the desserts as a punishment for not eating the peas. I'm like, fuck, I'll never forget this, dude. I was like, I don't know, 6-7 years old. And it's ingrained in my mind of how brutal it was that he had made a point of me watching people eat their desserts because they ate their peas. You motherfucker. And people always talk about like, oh, you fucking ain't religious. Yeah, people that are involved sometimes are dicks. So
I've had instances like that with religious figures. Yeah.
It really does change your mind about shit, right? There's people you're supposed to trust, and you know they're
especially
supposed to be
that
nice.
Little.
Yeah. But again, you know, like I said, I was 6 years old.
Suck it up and eat the fucking peas.
Fuck peas,
bro. I mean, like I said, I'm fine with it now. But like when you're 6 years old, the thing is, I just was unsure what the fuck it was. I didn't know what it was because my mom just wouldn't serve them because I love peas now, but it's kind of a weird experience in my life. And it's crazy to think that happened in like 1986, 87 kind of thing. And I still remember it like it was yesterday because it fucking traumatized me because I'll never forget these kids eating their ice cream going, what the fuck? Like they actually would not let me have it. It's crazy, man. Absolutely insane, man. But anyways, enough of the sob stories. Nobody cares about the sob stories. Fucking Moodz telling shitty ass fucking sob stories. Mason, what do you give The Burning?
Well, first of all, I was going to say shout out to the director Tony Malum because he also did Split Second 1992. So great movie.
Good call on that. I actually forgot to mention some of the credits that he had. Yeah.
And also, speaking of sort of Harvey Weinstein, just wanted to know if you guys had heard of this new controversial interview with Candace Owens and Harvey Weinstein called Harvey Speaks about Harvey being innocent. It's kind of
wait. Candace Owen interviewed Harvey Weinstein.
He's claiming to be innocent, though. There's literally hundreds of people that have the same story.
This was all a scheme, brother. They're all in on it against him, I guess. But Candace Owens is on the case. Wow. Seems to be on his side.
Are you fucking serious?
Yep, yep.
That's crazy.
Yep, and I watched like clips of the actual interview, and it was like, well, like obviously, like he's guilty, but you still want to see what he says, and some of the points that were highlighted was like, well, that's interesting. Me as a conspiracy theorist, anyway. But,
okay, like what?
Like the way that he settled with some of these actresses and just the way that he kind of portrays him being set up. It's like, not that I want to believe this or that it's just, I want to see the whole interview. I don't know.
What was why was he saying he was set up though? Because there was a lot of people that were unconnected in the industry that have the same stories. Like Aja Argento was not, it's crazy to me. Like I just,
but then you saw that flip on her too, right? Like got accused. She got accused by like a 21-year-old dude of being,
Oh, I forgot.
Well, he had like brought up Rose McGowan and stuff. I don't know. He was just bringing up names of. I don't know. This isn't an interview that would probably convince me of anything other than I'm curious what he says.
So next one she's gonna do is with Diddy. Is that the next one with Diddy?
Oh God.
Because let's face it, dude, that guy is guilty as sin. Like he was guilty. Like the fact that he never went to jail in the early 2000s when Shine took the rap for that shooting, there was literally like 40 people that had witnessed him shoot.
Dude, but honestly, I've been watching the Diddy stuff.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't really see like the evidence of the like charges that he has. Like not to say that he wasn't into some freaky weird.
You didn't see
like
him beat the shit out of Cassie.
But that's not what he's being charged.
No. I'm just saying, but that's playing into his character though too, because everyone had talked about like even when your dude that you like, what's the fucking guy's name?
Kid Cudi.
Yeah, Kid Cudi. When he just came out, he just testified in court actually like 2-3 days ago about how he broke into his house, assaulted his dog, blew up his fucking
but
Porsche,
again,
blah, blah, blah.
That has nothing to do with his charges.
No, but but these are character pieces. Like they're trying to prove that
Diddy's a piece of shit. I agree with that. I'm just saying, like his charges. Like
they haven't got to they haven't got to the evidence of the people that were around the. I mean, there's tons of people that were at these parties that left before they knew because they all knew that it was going down, so they left the parties. A lot of people knew what the fuck was happening after hours, kind of thing. So they left the parties. So, I mean, it is tough because a lot of these people will claim like they were at these parties, but they left before. So it's a matter of getting the people that were actually there for these things. I mean, let's face it, dude.
I'm just saying, like,
you can't have this many people involved in something and half the shit can't be true. It's insane to me. Yeah. But Diddy's always been on the scale.
Tons of stuff is true, but I'm just saying, like, whenever you look at like even like the Cassie stuff, like when you see some of her like text messages and shit, it's like, to me, she seems like she was down with the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, but you're also you're not seeing the full I mean, I saw some of that shit too, and I'm like, okay, that's edited for content for sure.
Sometimes maybe she was down.
You never know. I mean, there could be a point early in it where you don't know how dark it really fucking is, and you're like, okay, well, this sounds kind of cool. We're gonna get a little bit freakish. We're gonna do these fuck off. I mean, these are not uncommon things. What
Right.
Diddy was doing, like these fuck parties are not that uncommon. Swingers is not uncommon.
Yeah.
It's not an uncommon thing. We all know
It went
this.
a little too weird.
I actually know some people that, I mean, maybe not, hundreds of people, fuck offs, but like I know swingers and shit like that. They're down, they're married and shit, and they do that shit. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
But it's a matter of how you appropriate it, though. And like people are talking about
saying,
violence and like crazy fucking nasty shit.
Charges
Satanic
of
rituals
sex
and
trafficking.
Yeah.
The sex trafficking thing, like I haven't seen it yet. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I'm not even saying like, oh, I think Diddy should be released or anything like that. I'm just saying like based on
he actually got
what
denied
we've
from
seen
that.
first so far.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if granted the feds have like a 98% conviction rate, so it'd be pretty impressive if he didn't get convicted, but at the same time the major count of the racketeering and sex trafficking, I just haven't seen that happen, like any evidence towards that yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
We all
Diddy,
really have to accept
he's
that
always
as
been
private
kind of a piece of shit.
We're not going to see this.
Yeah.
They're going to let us see what they want us to see. So are we ever really going to know the truth?
Right.
I mean, yes, eventually I think, but not in the way, like not conveniently.
I mean, Diddy's always been super. He's always had the money to do it, but like when that shit went down in the club when he did the shooting and he shot that chick in the face, and Shine took the rap for it, which was fucking brutal. Like, I mean, but there is many people on record saying that they took payments. Like he paid off witnesses and shit, right? Like he knew that he could do this, and everyone was like, "I didn't see shit." That's how he never like Shine is like, "Well, I'll take the rap," but at the end of the day, we all know that Shine had millions of dollars in an offset account after that. Like once he got out, he was going to be set and shit. So, Diddy was powerful, man. He was super, super fucking powerful, and a lot of this is going back to even when Biggie was still alive, bro. Like he was always doing dirty shit, man. Like we even knew that shit too. Like you always heard stories about like how he was fucking with people and doing crazy shit and stuff. And like, man, he has gotten away with a lot of shit though, bro. Like it's 2025. This is like 30 years of this shit, bro.
I think that like one of the fascinating things about just modern landscape is I do think that the people that could just get away with murder before, I think it's like not happening as much or a lot harder to do. And I think that the thing that I find most fascinating is how many people that were close with Diddy are just silent.
Yeah.
LeBron James
Bieber's going crazy.
But I mean, that's kind of a tell right there, right? People are afraid to get involved. They don't want to be associated with this shit, man, because they have images too. They have names. They don't want to be involved.
Jay-Z and Beyonce.
I mean, the whole Jay-Z thing, I mean, it's been a mess for years though, too, because he's got so many businesses with Diddy though, too. And like, and the fact that like Jay-Z obviously knew what the fuck was going on. So did Beyonce. They all know what the fuck was going on.
Dude, some of them had to probably participated, man.
I think Snoop's kind of like, I've lost hope.
Snoop, I've lost respect for years and years ago, man. He's done so many things in the last 10, 15 years. I'm just like, what are you thinking? Even Dre's questioned him a few times. Like, fuck, it's like, it's pretty funny, but
it's hard.
The Jay-Z thing, the Jay-Z thing is bizarre to me because
they're like aliens.
Yeah,
everybody is, bro. All these
they're literally billionaires.
Well, they're all puppets anyway. They're still puppets.
Anyways, how in the fuck did we get on?
I am
my album.
22 shots of Diddy and tangents.
Like, but anyway, but my rating for the Burning Man, I mean, looking at it technically, I mean, maybe I'm being generous, but just as a go-to, what I like from a slasher, I'm comfortable giving it a 9 out of 10. I do love The Burning.
Fair enough. Tyler?
Yeah, I think this is definitely a solid movie. I did appreciate it more than I thought I maybe would have. I kind of thought I was gonna be like, maybe I should have left this in the memories. But yeah, I do agree that I think it's a little bit overrated if we're putting it into the category of like some of the best slashers. I will give it a 6.5.
JP?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be a little bit higher than that. In general, I tend to be higher rater when it comes to slashers. I really love them. It's probably my favorite subgenre. I've always loved me some slashers. So although I don't think that The Burning is like the best slasher, I think it's very, very good. Especially in the grand scheme of like standalone slashers. If I did a list of standalone slashers, it would probably be top 10 for me.
I was going to say, do you think it would make your top 50 overall slasher?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would actually have to think about that.
I would literally have like 8 Friday the 13th or 9 Friday.
Yeah,
the 13th
if you're
in that
including
top 50
franchises, it's tough at that point.
Yeah.
But
like I said, it was 30 on mine, so it's like, but yeah.
Yeah. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Cool.
I'm going to give it a solid 7. I mean, this is a film that I was giving, if I was rating it in 2012, it was probably 9.
Cool.
15, 16, it was probably 8. Like, it's gone down for me, but like, I still think it's a really capable and solid film. But I said my piece with it, so don't need to repeat it.
What'd you give it?
7.
Okay.
All right, so that is The Burning from 1981.
22 shots.
All right, so getting into the second feature here from 1987 with a film called Twisted Nightmare. Have you guys ever seen this one before?
Nope.
No,
yes.
Actually.
Yes, I have. A good handful of times.
Yeah, so we're in a very small group of people that have seen this one multiple times, I think. I just feel like this movie is one of those very underseen films. And it might be due to the fact, like, it doesn't necessarily... I mean, it has a Blu-ray from Code Red. But it didn't really have much before. I don't think it had a DVD before. I don't think it did, as far as I can remember. So it's kind of obscure in that aspect of physical media, and I don't really know. Is it streaming? How did you guys watch it?
YouTube.
It's on YouTube. Shit.
Yeah, that's how I watched it as well.
I have the Code Red Blue. I remember go ahead.
How was the transfer on YouTube? Was it like a high def one, or was it like an old VHS kind of transfer?
That's fine. It wasn't like anything crazy, but it was like way better than just a VHS.
Okay, well then you would know, because when I first watched Twisted Nightmare back in the day on the VHS, it was so damn dark. You couldn't really see a lot. Honestly, like a lot of this movie does take place in the nighttime. So with that said, like, I wanted to make sure how you guys watched it, because if you did watch like an old VHS transfer, you probably didn't see a lot. Pretty bad. I will say the Code Red Blu-ray is not perfect. It has a little bit of scratches in it, but it definitely has a decent transfer. You get to see everything. It's fucking night and day compared to what
I would probably guess it's the same transfer, because the transfer.
Okay, that's good. I just wanted to make sure, because like I said, I've seen this before and it did not look good. It really did not look good. All right, so synopsis. Group of teens visits childhood summer camp. I'm just reading how it's written. Members start vanishing mysteriously. Survivors suspect linked to prior death of disabled child. Hunt for truth as disappearance escalate. Who the fuck wrote this shit? Okay. That literally does not read very well. Yeah, so basically the movie starts out with a bunch of people that get like these, they're almost like Willy Wonka tickets, like, oh, you want a trip to the fucking the summer camp kind of thing.
Paradise. To
paradise. It's the place that they went to as childs and as group of friends and stuff like that. And they used to go there every year. Unfortunately, there was an event that happened at this camp with one of the characters' brothers. It's such a weird scene too. They show it later on in the film that he's kind of handicapped a little bit, and they're not really making fun of him for being handicapped. I think they're making fun of him for being possibly gay. Which is kind of,
there's that like real bizarre scene where they're
Tyler cracked up at work, right?
I'm cracked up at a bunch of things. There's like a bunch of just like really like between like stuff like bizarre scenes and like bad continuity errors. I laughed a lot at like watching it.
Continuity, I'm interested in that.
So anyways, like literally a scene where someone's like wearing a jacket, and they wave goodbye, and they pan back to him, and he's wearing a tank top.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the fact
like shit like that.
I thought you were talking about the fact in the beginning of the film where they're told that that they need to park at the gates, and it's like a 2-mile hike into the cabins or whatever. And then the next scene, well, after they're there, their vehicles are right at the cabins. That type of shit in the narrative is like, it's so
like
stupid.
Scene where like those two just like, it's so hot out. Yeah, it's a scorcher, and they're wearing fucking jackets.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, there's a scene where the handicapped brother's being made fun of, and he runs into this barn, and then, which is probably still, in my opinion, one of the most bizarre scenes in any slasher film, because he ends up catching on fire. And I have no idea how he actually catches on fire. It's like really, really. I've even rewound it this time to make sure that I wasn't missing something. I'm like, there's nothing there. It's not fucking fire. It's so weird. So it's kind of like the contrast of The Burning. This one is about someone that burns, and then of course his body goes missing somehow. I don't know. It goes missing. Anyways, they return years later. They're telling the backstory and stuff like that. And of course, they're at this camp, and they start getting picked off one by one. I don't really think the mystery is overly insane who's doing the killings here, because they kind of give it to you. But yeah, man, Twisted Nightmare. Tyler, break it down for us.
Yeah, this was a mess.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I had fun with it, and like what the fuck am I watching? Like type of way. Like the acting's like really is pretty bad, but it's like bad in the really like funny way. Like there was that one guy, what was his name, Dean, that was just like so juiced up, and he was so angry and over the top. Like
I call him Mustache Boy.
Oh my god,
he's so pissed off all the time.
The scene, I lost it. It took me like 3 minutes to recover. It was when he's like in bed with the chick, and like he gets pissed off. And he like goes like, "Don't you ever call me a homo," and like picks up the bed and like throws it against the wall. Or a pussy, that's what he says.
Yeah, he says
"Don't
pussy.
you ever call me a pussy," and like picks up the bed and throws it against the wall.
What a pussy thing to do.
It took me like 3 minutes to like recover from
like right at the beginning. He's like so pissed off that the other couple gets like the good bed or whatever.
I loved him and that guy.
He wants to leave. And he's like, I fucking hated your brother too. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, dude, this guy's that guy like tack together, because that guy was like so intense, and that tack guy, like literally anything, he's like, oh yeah, maybe we should do that.
Yeah, that scene
like
is so
somebody
funny,
needed to
JP.
beat that dude up, bro.
That scene is so fucking funny. That they're just having this gathering of like old friends and shit, and like, and then he doesn't get the cabin that he wants, and he's just like, "Fuck you guys, I'm out of here." And I didn't even like your fucking brother anyway. I'm like, what the fuck? Like that's a little bit of an overreaction. It's ridiculous.
Oh
man.
my god,
it's so out of control. But his character's like this the entire movie. Every scene that he's in, he's just like, fuck this and fuck that, and like, and there's actually a point where they actually do leave. They fucking leave. It's hilarious, man.
There's just like so many characters, and then like you see like you see them like all when they get there, and then but you only like spend time with like so few of them, and then like people just show up like, oh yeah, I forgot about them, and they'll just like get killed.
Well, no, everybody shows up at one point. Everyone's there at one point. It just kind of follows certain characters here and there, because Tack and the other blonde-haired guy, they go out hunting and stuff, and Tack is like, you want to talk about acting? Like that might be some of the most wooden acting ever. Besides the sheriff.
He's so motivated. It's so funny.
The sheriff is really bad in this film too. He's really wooden too. But like Tack is hilarious because he is fucking jacked, dude. He's this Asian guy that's just insanely jacked. It's fucking awesome, man. He's so built. He's awesome, man. He's actually my favorite character in the film because like he's just likable because he's such a bad actor. It's amazing. It's so good. But
yeah, it's like it's like bad, but it's like not like the bad where you're just like waiting for it to be over. It's like the kind it becomes endearing at like, all right, you guys are trying. That's all right.
This is a great example of a slasher film that was made way past the golden age of slashers. Like this is 1987, and there is a rumor about this film that it was fucking produced in 1982 and it got shelved for 5 years. It's not true. It's not true. The story is that they fucked up on the copyright within the film, and it says 1982. It actually was produced in 1986, 87, and came out in 87. So it's relative to the time. Even when you watch it, you're like, so if it was produced in 1982, how the fuck did that 1986 Mercury get in the film?
Yeah,
fucking idiots. Like people are so gullible. They believe anything they fucking read. I'm like, those cars are not from 1982, bro.
Well, technically,
nice.
If it was production during that entire time.
No, they were saying the rumor is that it was fully done in 1982 and shelved for 5 years. Yeah, that was the rumor behind it. But it's
because the copyright 1982.
Yeah, it was on the screen. It was actually wrong. So people started to believe that shit or whatever. But
what is shit?
So getting into like I don't want to compare it to The Burning, but I mean it's kind of similar to The Burning in a sense.
There is a burning.
Yeah, there is a burning, or a killer is kind of the same thing. It's kind of funny. But construction of film, like, The Burning has 10 kills, and we broke that down, like how the kills are dispersed within the film. This one is like completely different. Like it really has kills right from the opening in the film, and it plays right through the movie. And so I usually you do like a wiki fucking body count thing. There's nothing for this movie, which kind of plays into its obscurity. So I had to keep track of every single kill personally myself. So there's 16 kills in this film, including the 3 that happened in the end of the film, which kind of ends on like a dark note in itself kind of thing. But there's 16 fucking kills in this movie. And I'm not really too sure on why people hate this movie so much. I think this movie has a lot of things to offer. It is what it is. It's a low budget film. The acting is not the greatest. We understand this. The score is pretty minimal. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's fine for what it is. There is some notes in the score I think are actually pretty cool. It has good atmosphere. There's scenes at nighttime where it actually captures some really good atmosphere. I think it's pretty cool. There's a ton of characters, but the beauty of having a lot of characters is that they all fucking die. Like everybody dies in this movie. It's fucking awesome, dude. And everyone dies in kind of creative, parts and stuff like that. Okay. With that said, it's not the most original thing, but you have to remember that this movie was also kind of like a homage to like Friday the 13th. This movie was filmed on the Friday the 13th.
Homage or a ripoff?
No, well, this movie was actually filmed on the set of Friday 3, same set.
Yeah.
So they do purposely do. You got the scene where the fence post goes through the two people from Friday 2. You got that fucking scene. I think they do another one. Yeah, the dude that gets pitchforked was actually from Friday 3. They kind of mimic that scene a little bit too. So they're giving shout outs a little bit. I mean, they knew what they were doing. They knew that they were filming on the Friday 3 set. So they're going to do a little bit of homages to Friday the 13th and stuff like that. But overall, man, there's some decent kills in this, man. I think Tax Death is really good. He gets like fucking spiked in the back of the head.
That's one of my favorite deaths too. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the gore is pretty decent in that. But they really kind of mix it up, man. Like I think that starts out pretty weak. We have this, like, everyone's kind of gathering, they're doing their drinking and stuff like that. A girl goes out to the barn and she gets killed. And we just see the after effects of her hanging. I'm just like, oh my God, like, is this how the movie's going to be? But then you get a dude that gets killed right after that and he gets all spiked up and shit like that. It's, pretty cool. Then you get another off-screen kill. It's like, okay, whatever. But then pretty much all the kills in this movie are on screen, which I respect. There's only a couple that are off screen, and I give a lot of respect for that. For a low budget film, you're putting in the time to actually have these on-screen kills. Not too bad. Not too bad.
You want to know something weird about this movie that has nothing to do with this movie?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So, whenever I get a movie we review a movie that I don't own, first thing I do is just Google it to see if it's streaming anywhere.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, sweet, it's on Prime. Click play on Prime.
Was it actually Prime? Wow.
No.
No.
So I start watching about 15 minutes of this movie and I'm like, oh, I guess the title that maybe it goes under another title, and then I'm like David Ducatu. It's like this is a David Ducatu movie. Damn, this is crazy. I didn't know that. And then I'm watching. I'm like, this looks way like not what I was thinking. I was like, isn't this like a summer camp movie? And I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, I'm so confused right now, dude. And
what the hell were you watching?
This movie is definitely like not the 80s. In fact, I'm pretty sure that this is like somewhere in the late 90s or 2000s. And then I realized that I definitely am not watching Twisted Nightmare. Even though when you click it, it comes up Twisted Nightmare. It's like the cover and everything.
Really?
But the movie is Ancient Evil Scream of the Mummy.
Oh, that fucking the full moon film.
Is it a full moon movie?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Not a full moon movie.
Is it not? Ancient Evil's not? It's not one of those compilation fucking. Maybe I think it's something else. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
But dude, yeah, it's totally like if you Google Twisted Nightmare and see that it's streaming on Prime and click play, you get Ancient Evil Scream of the Mummy.
This is what you got to be looking for.
Is this on Blu-ray? Code Red.
Code Red, dog.
Code Red, man.
It's actually garbage Code Red, of course.
Nope. Code Red was a fucking savior of fucking media back in the day, man.
Oh my god, they're so lame.
No, dude, you're fucking lame for not understanding how important they were to physical media collectors.
They were the worst people.
Who cares about the personalities? The films they were putting out were fucking. I mean, I have a copy.
If you want to pay $35 in a time period when Blu-rays were like 19, sure. Code Red was cool.
Stop being fucking cheap, bro. It was boutique shit for real though, man. Like, I mean, it is what it is. I'm happy I have a copy, and I'm very happy to own that copy. Do you have one too, Mason?
Yeah. And which was cool because I had
Code Red's so great. Go ahead, Mason.
I was just saying, when I found out that it was out of print after watching it on YouTube a few times, I was hunting for it and almost like trying to keep myself from paying like, I don't know, $80 to $100 for the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And Mike at Grindhouse Video, God, when was this? Like 2 years ago? He had purchased a huge lot of Code Red movies out of print. And he had said, because I watch his YouTube updates, and he had said he got that title in particular, and it was going to be random when he uploaded it. So I would like literally get on the website like every day, refresh. And finally I got it, and it was $40. So
he was being reasonable at the prices because they were going for crazy fucking amounts.
Yeah. So $40, that wasn't bad. So that's how I got one like a couple of years ago. Yeah.
I got mine for $29.99 when it came out, whatever it was. So
listen, Code Red is so awesome that all these films that are fucking stuck in their stupid label, like this, like I would like to own this, but I can't because fucking Code Red owned it.
Well, the problem is with this movie too, I'm pretty sure that Bill I'm pretty sure that Bill bought the rights to this film. Do you know that, Mason?
I don't know.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that this might not get re-released unless we have like some type of someone buys up Code Red or whatever. But I'm pretty sure that he bought this title. Like he owns the title. And when he died, just like a lot of the things with Scorpion that happened too, because they were notorious for buying rights to the films. We might not get another release.
I've heard is that it has really like the elements are like either missing or in poor condition, like hard to work with. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's possible we might, but difficult. Yeah.
This totally feels like a Vinegar Syndrome.
Like definitely not a kind of like opportunity. If anything, like a reissue, like Blu-ray or something, but no 4K is possible.
I kind of have guessed this was a Vincent title.
I assume that maybe one day, the stuff that he owns, either some family member will sell off or some maybe rights will expire on the stuff he owns. I don't know. But
he definitely
I would like to get them fucking titles away from that label.
Again, a lot of the titles that he did release that he actually did buy them, so like they own those, which is a big problem for media collectors now, because if he owns those, his estate owns those now. So that's kind of sketchy, but I'm not 100% sure on some of the titles. We've seen some of the titles that that Code Red had, they've been released since. So that's a good thing. But Twisted Nightmare, I'm pretty fucking sure that he owned this one straight out. So that kind of sucks.
So what is the like how does this movie work? Like, so it's supernatural?
Oh,
I think it's kind of like only supernatural.
I don't
like, given
I don't
like
I
the
honestly
little Indian character or the native character.
What about the native character? Like
where he just tells like the mythology of it. I think that's about as supernatural as it gets.
The one dude like literally burst, like spontaneously combust, right?
Like it might be dealing with some like curses, like,
right? Isn't that what happens? He just literally blows on fire, and then like the whole lightning thing.
Yeah. So I'm assuming the killer in this film is probably not what we call alive, right? But it's weird though, because there's this whole kind of twist in the film with, a family member and stuff like that. Like they're in cahoots.
Yeah.
So
is it like?
So it does it does make you question. I've always wondered if it was fully.
I feel like when you throw in the Native American character and the like cursed land or whatever shit, then maybe you.
I think it's just a MacGuffin, dude. I think it's a MacGuffin, bro. I think it has nothing to do with the actual what's going on with the killings. I think it's because it's native stuff where they're like, okay, this was our land. White people came in, slaughtered the fucking people, which we all know the history of this fucking shit happen all the time.
Yeah, and Mason are losers.
So he is talking about.
You guys are descendants of the whites, man.
Yeah, we are. I know, it's fucking terrible.
Me and Tyler are fucking.
Because we're bald? What?
Ethnic up in here.
Yeah.
But anyways, the point is they bring that into there just to kind of like obscure you from really what's going on. But I think it's kind of like the burning thing. It's like Cropsy is like, they talk about like how his body wasn't found and stuff, which is kind of a problem within the burning itself too, because we know in the opening scene where he burns, he's at the I was going to say the hotel. He was at the hospital. And then he just reappears 5 years later. It's like,
yeah, but the reason it works in the burning is because like it's other people telling a story, and it's like, like
No, I just always find it funny that they're like, the body was never found. I'm like, well, we clearly see that the body was found because he was in the hospital, fucking getting treatments and shit. Anyways, but like it's kind of the same thing here, man. We have a person that burns. And then it's like years later, whatever it is, and then he's back doing the shit. But there obviously is some type of like realism to it, because maybe he didn't fully die, because like the sister is in cahoots obviously with what's going on and stuff like that. So I think they're trying to mislead you with the supernaturalness of having the native angle in there. It's just kind of like a MacGuffin. It really is. It doesn't really play into what's really happening, because I think that this killer that we have survived this fucking burning, right? But I don't know. Maybe he did die and he came back cursed. I don't know. They don't explain it. I mean, it's up to interpretation, really. But like, what do you really think? Like, I've thought of it both ways, where maybe he was kind of cursed but at the same time, why would a handicapped person that goes into a barn just spontaneously combust? Right. Why would a curse do that to someone that's already having a rough life? It doesn't even make sense.
One of my questions is in the beginning of the film, where do those invitations come from? I think that
it's the sister. Yeah. She's completely doing it out of
but doesn't she like get one and looks like, oh, I got an invitation, like when nobody's around?
Yeah, that's kind of stupid, because it's totally, she's setting up the whole fucking thing, which is kind of
it's like I could see if you did that in front of your friends to be convincing, but like if you just did it,
if you're by yourself listening to music, you're like, oh, I got an invitation.
But I think it's also supposed to be like one of those things where maybe she's like not like insane. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I've never seen this before, but I actually had a lot of fun with it. It's kind of stupid at times, but it's entertaining. And honestly, like something that's a little underrated with it is like visually, like it has some atmosphere.
Oh yeah,
like in the nighttime scenes.
That's what I said, man. Compared to The Burning, where it's mostly taking place in the daytime, this one has a lot of nighttime scenes, and we're watching on a decent transfer. You actually get to see the atmosphere. Pretty good, man. Not bad. Like for a low budget film,
shadow work and everything. Yeah,
for sure, man. For sure. And like the one thing that always sells me about this movie is the high body count. 16 people die. There's a lot of on-screen kills. It starts out a little bit slow with, a couple kills that aren't really on screen, but then it kind of gets into this mode where every kill is on screen. Like you got these kind of cool Sonic kills. And like, honestly, the one girl that doesn't die within the icebox, but that's a scary moment because could you imagine being locked into literally like a fucking freezer? That shit would scare the shit out of me. It's like, honestly, that's a fear of mine. I would not want to freeze to death. It's terrible. But like, I mean, they do, like I said, there's a bunch of shoutouts in here. There's the dude that gets killed by the pitchfork, which is very reminiscent of Friday 3, which they knew what they were doing because they were filming on the set of that. I mean, that's quite fucking obvious. They definitely did a parody, or not a parody, but they did a shout out to Silent Night, Deadly Night, with being impaled on the deer horns. That happens in the film. Yeah. Yep, happens right there. You got the Friday the 13th part 2 where the couple fucking gets impaled. That's another kind of shout out there. Which I'm going to take it as that because I think the fact that they were shooting on Friday 3, they knew what they were doing. They really did. Right. So, I mean, but there's still some pretty cool kills in the film. I mean, obviously, the Asian dude's death isn't like overly original. He just kind of gets hacked in the head, but that's the gore. Fuck, it's pretty good, man. It's actually shot pretty well. It looks good.
A lot of flesh.
Yeah, a lot of flesh, man. I think when the cop gets decapitated, that's a good one.
Yeah. And when the dickhead, he's like on the fucking fence shouting, "Fuck you." He gets electrocuted.
So when that person when they get electrocuted, how in the fuck does that? That almost seems supernatural at that point. So playing into the supernatural element, because the killer touches the fence and kind of electrifies it, which would give a supernatural thing because it wasn't an electrified fence.
Yeah. I thought I remember him like fucking around with some wires on there or something. I don't know. I don't remember reading it as a supernatural event.
Yeah, that's interesting because I don't remember.
I thought he was fucking around with something and then it created, I don't know. Like,
because I swear the killer touches the fence.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Okay. Rewind. It's worth rewatching.
Maybe there is a moment where I don't remember the whole wire thing, but I remember the killer touching the fence, and then that it seems like it electrifies it because it wasn't electrified fence. So obviously something had to be done to it too, right?
Right.
Interesting.
He disabled maybe some sort of safety, or maybe there's some sort of
to me, it just looked like he summoned a light.
Yeah, I'd be happy to go with that, JP. But yeah,
it's like partially not supernatural, but at the same time it has supernatural.
The movie's called Twisted Nightmare,
right? Which honestly, like,
put some spooky shit in here.
Is that a good title for the movie? Like, Twisted Nightmare is a great title for a slasher film, but does it work for this movie though? Does it really work for this movie? Like Twisted Nightmare.
I expect some damn nightmares if it's.
Well, I mean, it's a nightmare to be chased and killed.
They probably just wanted something that sounded cool.
Yeah, of course. Well, yeah.
But I mean, all in all, man, I mean, this one runs, just over 90 minutes. There's like 16 kills. It seems like there's a kill every few minutes, man. Again, talking about pacing in films, we're not here to get to know these characters super well and stuff. It is what it is. It's just kind of one of those films that's like fun in the aspect where you don't really give a fuck about anybody because there's so many death scenes. It's just like every time it just pans to somewhere else, someone else is dying. Like the dude that gets killed in the sauna on the rocks and shit. Like I like stuff like that. I like that. Those type of kills are cool. Actually, the one girl that gets fucking mangled up in the sauna too with the post. Likes the post kills. Like the post kills. I don't know what you call those, but just a lot of really different type of kills in here, man. Again, shout outs and stuff. I don't look at it as them being ripping off these famous kills. I think they're shout outs. I think they're just shout outs to the to the films that came before them and stuff. So, but
the one actor in it is that Cleve Hall dude. Do you guys know who that is?
Yeah, the name Cleve he was a effects artist, right?
Yeah,
and he played the killer. Yeah. He had a Sci-Fi Channel TV show that lasted like I think a season or something called Monster Man. I remember seeing that. Not the 2003 film Monster Man.
No, it was like a TV show where he like did
okay.
makeup effects.
Oh yeah. Dope.
Yeah.
I think my favorite part in the movie, though, man, is when the fucking killer steals Mustache. I'm just gonna call him Mustache Man, Mustache Boy. When he steals the gun and he just fucking stands there and he fucking bends it in half. I love that part, man. That shit makes me laugh, dude.
I think my favorite part was definitely "Don't you ever call me a pussy."
I mean, this movie is it's like it really is like one of those kind of standard slasher films that like has a high body count. It has pretty good gore effects, but it has a lot of tits and muff. There's a lot of like,
yeah, that's something I appreciate. Like basically most slashers, like even if like everything is pretty much average, if you give me like a little bit of sleaze,
yeah,
like
there's a lot of sleaze. Like a lot of full frontal nudity.
All like you need, just like just cover all the bases. Just give me season everything. That it's at least an okay movie.
I always love it when slasher directors are like, "Fuck it, man, we're doing full frontal," and like you see a bunch of muffies in there and like titties. It's crazy. It's like they give no fucks.
That's also like with movies. I know that they're not really the same type of movie. It's just going back to way earlier with modern slashers and stuff like Fear Street. Like. I think there's absolutely zero sleaze in any of those, and I think that's something that like really,
it's because
it's in general in like modern movies it's like not really done.
It's the generation. They don't want to see the fucking exploitation of fucking women and stuff like that. It's like
I do.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. We're from an older generation.
Like even as someone who's not like a giant like slasher fan, like I really struggle with like modern movies like this because it's just they don't have that element like at all. And
I mean,
it feels
let's face it, man.
missing.
The Fear Street movies are kind of based on preteen novels.
Yeah,
you're not going to see titties and muff in these movies because that's not right, because they're based around teenagers, right? These are supposed to be teenagers, obviously not played by teenagers. These people are definitely in their 20s, but it's not the point. They're supposed to be
and it's not something I'd even expected in. They just fall into kind of like the same blanket wool. Like, there's just none of that element is just absent.
Oh my God, dude. You know what part I forgot about in this movie? I actually made me laugh out loud, which I couldn't even remember. And it kind of plays into this whole kind of like woke and fucking elements that we live in right now. But that scene where the grandpa is like changing the fucking oil on the vehicle. And
it's all over his face.
And he gets up and there's this funny ass scene. And I don't know, like it plays out really funny because there's a black dude that's sitting on a chair and he gets up and he stares at, and the guys, they're like staring at each other. I'm like, are you doing blackface right now? Quite funny, man.
It's hilarious.
It is so funny.
He gets one of the girls calls like the shop or whatever for help, and she's like, "Help! I'm holed up at Camp Paradise." And he was like, "Oh yeah, nice place."
Dude, I truly think that this movie is mad underrated, dude. But I use underrated loosely because I think it's underseen. I just don't think it's just not rated enough because people have
you can
really
blame
seen
Code Red for that.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest,
this guy's sitting there like, oh, Code Red released like many movies
so cool
that needed to get released. Yeah, and then nobody could get them.
Well, but half of 50% of the people on here own this right now. You guys are the assholes.
Well, you own everything, so you don't
own it.
And people listening will probably watch it on YouTube.
To be fair, Twisted Nightmare was not really a huge VHS thing. I don't remember really seeing this around too often. I did see it, but honestly, I don't really see a lot of people actually have a tape of this. It's pretty obscure. It really is. But again, that's what I'm talking about with Code Red, is that they would dig in the vaults and find these obscure shits and put them out and stuff. I mean,
put them out super limitedly for
this wasn't
bunch of money.
It wasn't. I don't remember this was limited.
Of everything else.
Fuck! I'm just so happy to have.
What'd you say, Tyler?
For twice the price of everything else.
Yeah, it
paid
twice.
Dude,
it was $30. It was $30. When did this Blu-ray come out? In like 17?
That's like $47 adjusted for inflation.
Yeah, because you're saying $30 back when Scream Factories were like 18.
Probably $30.
Factory collector's editions were like
18. Yeah,
I paid $50 for Twisted Night.
I never paid $18 for
I did. I played
I did a
cheaper.
bunch.
The cheapest were
I paid
25 to
10,
27 for
11.
me.
Yeah, if you
25 to
didn't
27.
get them right when they came out and just waited a little bit on Amazon, you could eventually get them for like $15.
Remember, I'm in the land of Canada, so the shit was inflated. So it was 27 bucks for a Screen Factory. 29 for this was like, fuck, whatever, man. It's the same
for
fucking
us
price.
at the time, we could a Scream Factory standard. That was like the real like, geez, that shit was like $13-14 for like the non-collector's edition movies. Even those will go down to like $10. So we could buy that, or we could buy like $29.99 plus shipping from Code Red and get Attitude.
Moodz, what's the story on your one sheet poster?
The story with the one sheet poster is that I actually got sent that poster from just a fan of the channel.
Oh,
yeah, that's how I ended up with that one sheet. It was
like a long time ago, or?
Yeah, like probably early 2000 teens, like probably 13, 14, 15, whatever. Nice. Somebody was like, yeah, I want to send you a package, blah, blah, blah. Sent me some movies, blah, blah. And there's a couple posters in there. And one of them was Twisted Nightmare. And I was like, oh, fuck, that's wild. Like, I'd never even seen one of those posters before. I'm like, that is crazy. So I had to frame it and put it up. And it was super unique because when people come over that like no horror and stuff, they're like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Right.
Nobody knows what Twisted Nightmare is. So it's kind of cool. And I like the image on it. So it's like, and actually that's one of the most atmospheric scenes of the film. It's kind of like when you watch Superstition, right? You know, the cover art for Superstition, that scene in Superstition is like that artwork, and it's so dope, which I just did a guest spot on Parker's channel with that. But same kind of thing, same type of thing. Exactly. It's very similar, even color scheme, right? Yeah. Crazy. So yeah, absolutely, man. I was like just totally floored by getting a free copy, original one sheet of Twist. I mean, how many people have this? Like, I've never really seen one before. Yeah. So I was very, very happy to have that. And like people, it's so crazy how many people hate this movie. I don't understand what is so bad about this movie. It's a slasher movie with a big body count. It's got some good atmosphere. There's nothing wrong with this. I mean, if you're one of those people that's gonna be like, oh, the storyline is blah, blah, blah. It's the same storyline as The Burning. It really is. It's the exact same storyline. Yeah. You know, I mean, the acting is definitely 100 times better in The Burning than it is in this movie. There's a lot of wooden acting, but it kind of plays into it though. But I think for being such a low budget film by somebody that, you know, hadn't really done a lot of genre films and stuff, this is it's a fine film. It aged well. It really does. If you're a fan of 80s slashers films, I would highly recommend this film.
Oh yeah.
Highly recommend it. Yeah. So you guys have anything else on Twisted Nightmare?
No, I think I'm good.
All right. Yeah, Tyler, what do you give this one?
All right. I thought overall most things about it were kind of poor, but it entertained me enough. So I think it's all right. 5.5.
Thanks, Tyler.
AP, what do you got?
Again, higher than Tyler. I tend to enjoy slashers a lot more. I give it a 7.
I know this is gonna be crazy because I gave The Burning a 7, but I'm giving this one 7.5. I really like this movie. Ooh. I think it's fun as hell, man. Like, I just rewatched this and keeping track of the kills. Like, I literally wrote down every single kill in order. And I'm just like reading through the kills right now. I'm like, damn, bro, like this is crazy.
If you could put like Mustache in The Burning instead of Glazier, like
yeah,
then
yeah, Mustache is angry. Like, he's the funniest character in this movie, man. So goddamn angry for no reason. It's hilarious.
I just love that, like the intensity, like he delivers all his lines at, and like half the time, like everyone else in the scene is just like feels like they're reading off of cue cards.
Right.
It's hilarious.
Right. Mason, what do you got?
For myself, and this Twisted Nightmare made number 26 on my top 50 non-franchise, so good rating. And I do give it an 8.5 out of 10, easy.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I kind of figured you might like this one too, man. I think it's solid as fuck, bro. Like super underrated, but I'm gonna say it's underseen.
Right.
as to why it's underrated. So
you mentioned like, having the poster up, and then when your friends come over who like horror, but not obscure films like that, they just haven't seen. But sometimes, as much as they are underseen and we want people to see them, well, then it turns out when they do, they don't like it, because sometimes those type of movies are like special for people like us who just, watch it if you want, but I don't know if you like it. But I don't know. Sometimes it's kind of cool to have those little special obscure movies.
I 100% agree. 100%
Then,
agree.
I love Friday the 13th. Don't get me wrong. They'd be abundant on a real list, but it's cool to have a little offbeat one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way of explaining it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that is Twisted Nightmare from 1987.
You start with Allison. She's so fine. But look at her long or you'll go blind. Next is Pam, and we'll tell you this, she ain't no sham. She comes out with a bam. Next is Ronnie. She acts kinda funny. Steal your heart, but not your money. Can't forget Teresa. She's got what it takes. Putting her on this team was no mistake. Last is Lori. This is her story. She's our gator. We'll be seeing her later.
All right, so moving into the third and final film here on episode 295, we are going to go to 1988 with a film called Cheerleader Camp, directed by John Quinn. What else did he do?
Lots of porn or softcore porn.
Which actually kind of makes a lot of fucking sense now that you say that. I didn't even realize he did a lot of porn, but
titles such as Sex Court the Movie, Staying on Top, The Key to Sex, Sheer Passion, Passion's Peak.
It's amazing. So this movie is notorious for starring Betsy Russell, who obviously became one of the faces of the Saw franchise. She did 3, 4, and 5. So she, very, very famous for that. You got Leif Garrett in this film as a love interest in the film. You got Lucinda Dickey, who I remember her from. She played in Breaking 1 and 2. Like if you guys are familiar with Breaking 1 and 2. And also she was in Ninja 3, which I don't remember from that film, but maybe is she the main character? She's the main. I can't remember. I think she is, man. But yeah, we got George Buck Flower in this movie.
Yeah, of course.
And then
there's been a couple weird 88 dreamy fucking weird off movies that I love. This one and The American Scream.
Right.
Yes.
Dude, he pops up in everything, man. It's funny when I look on my on my Letterboxd. I have 20 something films watched, and he's just a side character in every film. Every film, he pops up in everything.
Yeah, I think he's like the number one most watched actor.
Yeah,
no shit,
it's crazy.
I'm not even kidding.
Good old George Buckflower.
Mine is Willem Dafoe.
Hell yeah,
that's random. And then you got Terry Weigel, who plays Pamela in the film, who. She has a pretty good death scene in this film, but she actually is very famous for becoming a porn star.
It's Terry Weigel.
Weigel, whatever. A couple years later, this is 88. I think 91, she got into porn, and she's still doing porn, which is fucking wild to me. She's in her 60s now. She's still doing porn, but that's how I knew her. Yeah, dude, she's fucking hot in this, man. But she didn't really do porn that I liked, but anyways. But it was pretty standard stuff. I'm not really into that.
Not enough butthole stuff for you?
Nope, not at all. I don't think she did any anal scenes. I was like, okay. Anyways, Cheerleader Camp, man, from 1988. Synopsis: a group of cheerleaders become the targets of an unknown killer at a remote summer camp. Okay, that's pretty fucking basic.
Unknown for sure.
Yeah. So I always thought that this movie, again, it doesn't have, so this one out of the 3 movies has the smallest body count. But to me, it feels like it has a bigger body count than The Burning because the way it paces out its killings, its kill scenes, which I respect that. Like if you can have 9 kills in a film and still have them from start to end, that's kind of cool. Where The Burning really kind of lumps them in. Yeah. I mean, I like the premise of this film. It's very simple. it's a bunch of people that are going to this cheerleader camp to basically, I guess what they're doing is they're trying to win. What exactly they're trying to win? What the fuck are they trying to win?
It kind of just seems like a little like summer camp.
Yeah, it's like a summer camp thing.
Together,
but it still is like a competition kind of thing.
It's like playing summer league.
Yeah,
that's how I took it, at least.
Yeah, and simply, the people on this one team start getting picked off one by one, and it really is kind of a mystery. Like, you actually don't fucking know who is doing the killings in this, right? That's what I really like about this movie, is that it's not like The Burning or even, Twisted Nightmare. It's pretty obvious who probably is doing the killings. But this one right here kind of plays out more. It doesn't play out like a giallo, but it has the mystery of a giallo, where you really kind of don't know who the fuck is doing this. As people are getting picked off, you're like, why are these people dying? Who's doing the killings and shit. I gotta say though, man, the cast in this film is insane. Every girl's so beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Like, it is such a beautiful cast.
I like how they're like, they're like late 20s, like playing teenagers.
Every girl in this film is between 24 and 28, and they're all playing teens. It's hilarious how, it's fucking awesome. It's really good. So they don't feel guilty about how much, titties and, smut is actually in the film, which kind of makes sense. It makes sense now that the guy did porn later. He was into the smut and shit like that. But, it's got his fair share of smutty scenes and things like that. And Betsy Russell, of course, does not get naked in the film, which she is so good looking in this movie. So good looking. JP, what are your thoughts on? Well, actually, let me ask. What's your guys' history with Cheerleader Camp?
I've seen it one time. I think when I was prepping for the Exploding Head Slasher show, I checked it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've only seen it once for this.
I saw it once before, like kind of in that same era when I like first saw The Burning. I just started watching like every slasher I could find, but it was like so long ago that I it was basically a fresh wash.
Yeah.
I was before engaging with it to try to see if it would make my list last year. I probably saw it maybe like 2018 or 19 on like Tubi or something, and then I'd watched it like once since then. So I've seen it maybe like 4 or 5 times altogether. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's one that I don't even think I ever watched until the Anchor Bay DVD came out, as far as I can remember. I may have seen it before. I don't remember. It's one of those ones I don't have a huge history with. I've just had the DVD for years and years and watched it a few times. So, again, I hadn't seen it in years. I didn't even have it logged on my Letterboxd, so I hadn't seen it in the last 8 years or 7 years. So it'd been a while. It'd been a while since I've seen it. So it was fun rewatching this. I remember the movie being a little bit more campy, but watching this time, I was like, dude, it's really just the fat dude relief. Like, he's kind of funny, but it's not like corny funny though. Like, he's actually legitimately kind of funny in the movie. Like, some of his lines, I like the scene where he's just like, they're at this party and everyone's all partying and shit like that. And he takes this bottle of vodka and he starts slamming. He's like, fuck it. And he just goes after the chick. And I'm just like, oh, dude, that's like the most 80s ridiculous shit ever. It's so ridiculous.
I think it's actually pretty campy. No pun intended. Or actually, all my puns are always intended.
Yeah, no, it definitely has it. But I was thinking it was like funnier, like a lot more comedic relief. I mean, there's definitely campy points in it and stuff like that, but it's, honestly, it's better than I remembered it to be honest. Like, I get why the first kill in the film is off screen, because they want to play it off like it's a suicide and stuff like that, but I really do enjoy the mystery of who's doing the killing. Like, did you guys have any idea who actually was the killer in this?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I don't really ever try to like figure it out. You could pretty much.
But sometimes you just accidentally stumble upon. You're like, I think that's the killer, right? Like, for some reason, this one you're just like, I have no fucking clue.
Maybe it was.
I have like something about it. Like, I don't honestly even mind these in these slasher movies. Like, I just assume a lot of the time that it's going to be something retarded anyway that I wouldn't be able to like guess. So I just kind of like watch it and expect something dumb to happen. Killer.
I think what separates this movie from a lot of slashers. And you got to remember, this is 1988. This is well past the golden age of slashers. I think what really separates this one is that it has a really fucked up dark ending to it. It's kind of it's kind of crazy actually that
was one thing I really liked about the movie, just like the way they like did the nightmare things. It was almost like turns into like a David Lynch movie for like a couple seconds at a time.
Yeah, it's weird, right? Like I think there's some pretty good atmosphere. There's some pretty good kills out in the out in the woods and stuff like that. Like the carnage, the girl that gets killed by the van, you don't actually see, well, you see the kill, but you get to see the carnage after. I'm like, fuck, like she got guts everywhere, man. Actually, pretty good job with that. Like there's some pretty decent kills in this, and I don't remember it having great kills. So I was pretty shocked by that. So, I mean, again, there's only 9 kills, but there's some pretty decent ones.
The bear trap that one stands out.
Which one?
Bear trap.
Yeah, the bear, which is actually, I'm glad you brought that up because that's one of the funniest kills in the film because it's like, it's not actually the killer that does it. It's like, it's an accidental death that turns out to be like super brutal and gory. You're just like, oh, goddamn. Yeah, man, like for only having 9 kills, I think a lot of the kills stand out. But again, it's the pacing in the movie and it's the construction of it. There's kills from the start to the end. And it just, even though it only has 9, it feels like it has a lot more. It really does. It just kind of feels like it does. Yeah. And I'm totally cool with that. I mean, I like the mystery of the film. It's got pretty decent atmosphere. You know, I wish this movie had a better score considering it's dealing with cheerleaders and it's got music and stuff like that. I wish it had a better kind of synth and better soundtrack, better score. It really doesn't. It's very kind of standard. It's kind of disappointing. But I was paying
extra attention to it this watch because TerraVision is putting out the vinyl this year.
Right.
Well, I'm wondering how's that going to translate on vinyl? What are they going to,
There might be pieces on the vinyl that aren't necessarily in the film, but that's really interesting that they're doing the soundtrack to this because I feel like maybe it's better. I don't know. I have no idea, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of like, this movie is super fucking sleazy. Like there's a lot of tits. There's a lot of muffiness. There's a lot of fucking sex. And there's just a lot of like 80s.
They're like cheering them on where they're fucking.
Yeah, like ridiculous shit. Like our fat relief character played by what's his name? Johnny. I can't remember what his name is.
I have no idea.
But anyways, he's funny, man, because he's literally filming everybody. You know, whether there's women sunbathing on the rocks and stuff, he's filming all this shit, and they're going back and watching it. But like, he films like the cheerleader director fucking the sheriff and stuff like that. And it's like there's so many scenes where they're literally filming shit. It's so erotic but like cheesy at the same time. It's like ridiculous. Yeah, man, it's I didn't remember it being like that, but it's so 80s because everyone just plays it off like, hey man, you're just being a voyeur and filming people like naked and shit, and then go back and watch it, and everyone's cool with it. It's like, that's normal. Could you imagine that nowadays? Nobody is cool with that shit nowadays. It's like, man, dude, you're being a fucking creep and a half kind of thing. But
it's funny because like no one was okay with it in the. Well, actually, no, that's actually not even true. Some like half the people weren't okay with it in the burning with that fucking one kid being creepy, but like the other half were just like the counts were just like, oh, boys will be boys.
Yeah. But I mean, this guy gets away with it all day, man. But it actually, it's kind of a nice contrast though, too, because his kill scene, they end up watching on the camera that he films all the smut shit on. I thought that was actually kind of a cool thing in the film, and his death scene is actually pretty cool. So I like that. But yeah, it honestly is pretty. It's pretty exploitive. It's pretty exploitive. I like it. So it's fun.
Well, most of my enjoyment.
So is he a cheerleader?
Betsy Russell.
He's supposed to be. I think he's one of those dudes, like, you know, like how there's always guys like on a cheerleading squad. They're the dudes that hold up the girls and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like there's that scene where Pamela, who's turned into a porn star, and he's like, yeah, I'm not looking up there. And she's like, I'm confused on why you're not looking up. There's some really filthy dialogue in the film. He's like, okay, maybe I should look up at your vagina. But yeah, his character in the film, which is Betsy Russell's boyfriend, Leif Garrett, it makes sense as to why like he's so fucking filthy and stuff, because she doesn't want to sleep with him. Because one thing that we didn't mention, like her character, she suffers from like nightmares and stuff like that. She has like these crazy nightmares and all this type of shit that's going on. And it obviously translates into her real life where she doesn't want to sleep with her boyfriend. So like his objective while he's there is just to like hit on every single fucking chick. Every single fucking chick, just try to get Boone and stuff. And like he kind of does. And it's just kind of funny. It's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But the whole, like, what are your guys' thoughts on the whole like nightmare things and like what she's having and stuff? Because like me personally, I've mentioned many times on the podcast, like I'm not a huge person of, unless the movie's dealing with nightmares in general, like Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not a big fan of like having these like nightmare scenes and just daydreams and nightmare, like, you know, throughout films and stuff like that. But this one, it's weird because it kind of works for what it is. It doesn't really take away from a lot that's happening because I don't know. It just doesn't really affect the film for me too much here.
I like it. I think it makes sense for the story.
Yeah, me too.
Most of my enjoyment from the film entirely is Betsy Russell, you know, and my big crush on her, but just her performance, just spiraling, you know, throughout the movie. I just think she sells that nightmare essence really well. She's just really fun to watch. I feel like there's just this competition behind the scenes with how it ends, obviously, with her friends trying to manipulate her and just enhance her nightmares, I guess. And she doesn't know what's real. So I think she actually is a little crazy, but obviously not guilty of what's going on. She's just being manipulated. But she's just so fun to watch.
Yeah, I enjoy her. I think that the movie itself, like what I find most, I guess, unique about it is just how the story plays out. And it, like the final of the movie is like actually a little different than what you would expect from most slasher films of the era. And the poster art is really awesome.
Legendary poster art.
I think the way
reminds me of Goosebumps.
The way they tell the story,
except for the tits.
Like the reveal isn't like
at the edited version then.
Yeah, like the reveal in
under the
film,
shirt, you can see the boobs a little bit.
Y'all stop talking about boobs.
Oh yeah.
like the reveal in the film is done really well. Actually, it's pretty subtle.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's not like this big like aha moment, like oh you're the fucking killer kind of thing. But like it goes a little bit further than that, and it takes it to a different level. And I love the way that shit goes down, dude. Like I think that's really unique for a slasher film. I think it's kind of underrated. Like again, nobody really talks about this film, probably because it's probably underseen because it doesn't really. But yeah, this artwork, you guys, it's come on, man, it's fucking out. It's amazing. It's amazing.
I have the.
So what's the deal?
Blu-ray.
I'm waiting for my Blu-ray to come in from Sloppy Seconds, and I still haven't got it. I ordered that too.
I was shocked at how quickly mine came.
Yeah, I've been waiting over 3 weeks now, and I'm thinking, I don't know what the fuck's going on because the last order I made to them, I got my shit within like under 2 weeks. So I'm like, am I getting it? So, does it look good?
Yeah, I thought it looked great. So, I mean,
so what's the deal with the fact that there's no like newer releases? There are no elements.
This seems to be a rights issue, and from the hints that I have kind of seen for myself, I think that it could be coming now. Maybe that had been situated or solved, but it didn't seem to be like an elements thing. It could happen, but there's something with the rights.
So I thought it was for years they didn't know who actually had the rights to the film.
Yeah, and maybe
as to why, because Lustig obviously had it when he owned Anchor Bay, but that's literally like this DVD release is like over 20 years old. So I'm not sure if it ran like maybe somebody that owned the rights to it died and it just kind of became one of those things that happens. But it does seem weird because it's a title that, you know, he acquired, put out, and then that's it. That's all we got. So, I mean, hopefully they figured it out because I would love to see a great transfer of this. And hopefully other people can get to see it, you know, in the future, because I think it's a fun film. I mean, if you like your slasher films, it's not, it's not rewriting, you know, the
genre.
It's not rewriting the genre whatsoever. But at the same time, it still does something different enough that and so effective in what it does. It's memorable. It really is. So good cast, very sleazy, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
So great 88. I mean,
yeah. Right.
So Camp Fear was supposed to be a sequel to this.
I heard about there like being a sequel or something like that.
It said that there was a sequel planned and it eventually got morphed into Camp Fear.
Okay.
Which is, I've never seen it, but it has Betsy Russell and George Buck Flower in it.
Is it the early 2000s or something, or is it
1991?
Oh, okay. Well, shit.
Just like 3 years later. Yeah.
Oh, well, damn. Okay.
You know what the most ridiculous thing about this movie is that makes me laugh is because by 1988, hip hop music was becoming more in the mainstream and stuff. And they throw that ridiculous rap scene into this, and it kills me every time I watch it. I'm just like, bro, you guys suck.
It's the worst.
It's so bad, but it's like hilarious, man, because it was just kind of proving that the genre was breaking out into like mainstream and stuff. Like, these guys that were doing these films were willing to put like rap scenes in there and shit. It's kind of funny, but it's interesting to say the least, but not
this
good.
movie was also, I thought it was cool that it was shown on USA Up All Night.
Was it?
Yes.
I didn't watch a lot of USA Up All Night.
I did in like the mid 90s for sure, but
yeah, I watched some. I was always like religiously watch Monster Vision, but I didn't really get. I don't know if I was just unaware of USA Up All Night, but I watched some of it.
I didn't get USA All Night because I'm in Canada.
Oh, yeah, that makes
First of all, it's USA Up All Night.
There you go.
Canada Gold.
No, we had Showcase. We had Showcase, which was kind of the equivalent. So that
Canadian
channel would play uncut movies. So like I remember watching Crash on there back in '96. They got and it was uncut. Like you're just seeing what you're seeing in Crash. It was fucking wild, dude. Like on TV. This is not a pay channel. It's fucking wild to watch. This is Canadian TV, but we also had pretty much no censorship back in those days at all. Like it was, if you had those channels, you could just play whatever you want. Everything was uncut. It was awesome.
Do you remember Dinner in a Movie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Beans and cornbread.
Dinner in a Movie was fun, man.
Cornbread had a fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. I'll get high on nostalgia on that. Okay.
Damn, dude, I forgot about Dinner Movie. That's crazy.
I think they revived it recently, but I don't know
yeah. I meant to kind of keep up with that, but
I remember more about the moniker of Dinner in a Movie than the actual movies that they played on there and or the dinners that they cooked. Because they used to cook the dinners, right?
Yep.
And then they would show the movies.
That was like the funnest part.
Yeah. I mean, you're preaching the choir over here, man. We watch the cooking channel. Just like over here. Me and the wife are always watching the cooking channel. But
see, I guess the reboot or whatever from a couple years ago or last year, Jason Biggs and his wife hosted it.
Oh shit!
But
be funny.
They don't do any food.
Okay,
well, that's boring.
They don't do any recipes. Rather,
did you guys see about the new American Pie?
I heard about it. Is it actually real?
It's not a stupid remake,
American
is it?
Funeral.
No, it's because Stifler's mom dies, so it's kind of heartfelt, and
I would love it so much.
Yeah.
I love.
I hope that Sean Williams. Like, I hope he's not like also the dude in the film. He's like, oh, my mom, or whatever.
I think he'll be all right. He had a cool role in the last season of Righteous Gemstones. It was cool to see him again. Yeah.
I love that dude, man. He's so fucking funny.
He was pretty good in that one. And I love when he played, I just came out of nowhere when he plays Mac's brother and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Oh, Country Mac. Yeah.
we actually share the same birthday, October 3rd.
Oh, Sean William Scott?
Yeah.
Oh, and Nev Campbell.
And Nev, yeah, there's a few, man. Yeah. Yeah. It's a popular day, man. It's a popular day. Gwen Stefani is actually born on the same day.
Wonderful Libras.
Yeah. Yeah. Who do you guys share birthdays with?
Travis Barker.
John F. Kennedy.
Travis Barker?
Travis Barker. That's the only one I know.
Travis Barker's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Nice.
Also wanted to shout out, I was looking at Betsy Russell's filmography, besides her being in several Saw movies. I noticed she was in a film from 1992 called Delta Heat, starring Lance Henriksen, directed by Michael Fisher from Death Spa. Anyway, and I watched that movie today. It was a lot of fun. It was on YouTube.
Shit.
I recommend it. Delta Heat 92.
I share a birthday with Mandy Moore.
Ooh, Mandy Moore.
Oh, nice.
Steven Seagal.
Nice.
Haley Joel Osment.
Yes.
Haley Joel Osment, really?
Orlando Jones. Max von Sydow.
Wow.
Ooh,
that's some classic shit right
that's
there.
a good one.
Seven Seal, bro.
Some Aries.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
You guys
there
know
was
that
somebody I just saw recently who was like a newer.
Well, I got Bob
actress or
Hope.
something.
I got Carmelo Anthony, Annette Bedding, Mel B from the Spice Girls. Scary
Mel B.
Spice.
Oh, she was the
Danny Elfman.
Is Mel B is she the black one?
Yeah, Scary Spice.
Scary Spice, yeah.
Riley Keough, Ted Levine. Wow, I got some good ones.
She was
So your
my favorite.
birthday's
She
in
was
4
my favorite
days?
Spice Girl. Actually, no, I like Baby Spice because she was.
Your birthday's in 4 days?
No, Scary Spice was definitely the best Spice Girl, bro.
Yeah, well, those are my two. I liked Baby and
Anders
Scary.
Holm, full circle for Workaholics.
Nice.
All right, yeah.
Are we seriously
Joseph
talking about
von
favorite Spice Girls?
Sternberg, really? Wow, that's so sick.
Good old Gemini.
Yeah, but who was born on your actual birthday though?
Like the year and everything?
Yeah.
Oh, I know there was a girl in my class.
Probably no one.
They had the same birthday.
I've never actually met anybody that was born the same day as me.
Really?
I've never even, yeah. Everyone that I like, famous people and stuff, it's always different years, but never one person.
It would have to be like a classmate, probably, if you would. That's how I do, like in school. Yeah.
Yeah, October 3rd, 1980. No, nobody.
I have the only one I see is Amanda Mikachalka from the Goldbergs.
What the fuck is the Goldbergs?
I got no one.
I think it's a TV show.
Oh, is that like some reality show?
No, I think it's like a sitcom or something.
Oh, okay. What do I think? I don't know. Yeah. Do y'all have anything else on Cheerleader Camp?
I'm good.
About Delta Heat. When George Buckflower said the hilarious line, "Make your pee-pee harder than a 10-pound bag of nickel jawbreakers," that was pretty funny. Hope I get to use that sometime. But anyway, shout out George Buckflower, keeping us entertained with his weirdness.
You know, actually one of my favorite parts in the entire movie is a very subtle part where Betsy Russell character is hiding in his like kind of den area. It's like a real filthy fucking workshop kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then he hears something, but he doesn't go back to find her. He goes in the fridge and what does he do? He pulls out a fucking gallon of wine.
Hell yeah.
It's so amazing. Like those big ass fucking bottles with the handles and shit. Like y'all don't know that. You guys know that shit, man. So gangster, so fucking cheap, man. It's amazing. I love that. Yeah. It's just the subtleties in films that I always notice. It's kind of like watching Prom Queen, man. When we were talking about that earlier, we never even brought up the fact that they did have a Fulci zombie poster in the background. I respect it.
Yes. The moment I saw that, I was like, oh, like I literally said this out loud. I was like, oh, well, they put posters like zombie on the wall, so idiots like me go, I know what that is.
Yeah, but a lot of people, like Gen Z people, like they won't even get that. They won't get that. But her character, but it made sense to her character because she was the horror fan. She was the one that puts the fucking head in the punch as a joke.
Yeah,
like that's a funny part in the film too. So.
I also like that the movie theater was playing Phantasm 2 and Miracle Mile.
And they actually showed clips from Phantasm 2. I was like, that's impressive.
Weren't the clips from Phantasm 1 though? Or am I misremembering it? Because I thought that was weird. It looked like Phantasm 1 clips.
No, I think the scene where the dude gets the fucking shit, I think that is from Phantasm 2.
Okay, maybe it's been long enough since I've seen them. Where like I know that same scene happened in the first one.
But it just made me think. I was like, going back to like what they spent on copywriting the music and stuff, like a lot of money, obviously. Like they didn't pick fucking shitty ass songs. But then even getting clips from Phantasm 2 and I don't know what when it comes down to like showing posters in movies and stuff, do you have to pay for rights to show zombie? Probably, right? Because it's still a product. It's still a copyrighted image, right?
Unless it's from like the same studio.
Yeah, it definitely is not. Definitely is not. That zombie poster is definitely not the same studio, but
posters, no.
No. So you probably have to put that, I'm assuming. I don't know. But yeah, they weren't fucking around with Phantasm 2 clips. Jesus Christ, bro.
In Prom Night?
Yeah, bro. They're
awesome.
They're at the movie right after they show one of our characters who's a huge horror fan. They have this huge zombie poster in her room, and she's like building this fucking like bust that she plays out later in the film. And then they're like watching Phantasm 2 in the theater because it's 1988 when it came out. So it's like fresh. That's kind of a nice touch. So there's definitely some money spent, man. Definitely some money spent in this film.
Funny enough,
it's fucking Netflix. Of course there is.
I watched that movie, the other movie that was playing, Miracle Mile, like last week.
Yeah, I've never seen it actually. I've never actually seen that movie. So
like it was pretty cool. It's like After Hours, but like more nihilistic.
Well, then I would really like it then. It's more nihilistic than After Hours.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so Cheerleader Camp, JP, you're up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm also at a 7 out of 10 on Cheerleader Camp. I think it's fun. Good stuff.
I'm easily at an 8.5 out of 10 on this one, and it made my number 6 on non-franchise slashers.
Wow.
I love Cheerleader Camp. I also made a note that I noticed small similarities between Cheerleader Camp and The Burning. Like both films feature characters mooning each other. Hey,
right. And actually, this guy's ass he's got the biggest ass crack I've ever seen in a movie.
He makes that thing out there for air for a while.
Oh my god. And they also
you almost get like a whole fruit salad with the kid from The Burning, though. It's kind of gross.
You definitely get his balls in there, yeah, for sure.
Notice they both have these like red cut scenes. They like kind of cut to red before they as a transition. Yeah.
Right.
And then they both have like scissor style kills. Yeah.
Again, all three of these movies have contrast between them, right?
Yeah.
You got The Burning to
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, 8.5 out of 10, man. Love Cheerleader Camp. I throw on Betsy Russell any day. Let's get a Blu-ray. All right.
It's such a good trilogy of films to do for a show. Like, it's fun.
Yeah.
Good conversation pieces. Like, I mean,
get the word out there.
For Twisted Nightmare and Cheerleader Camp, for sure. Everyone knows The Burning, but like, check out the other films for sure. Tyler, what do you give this one?
I'm gonna go ahead and even out Mason's score. I feel pretty similar to this as I did for Twisted Nightmare. That movie's kills are a little better, and that movie made me laugh more. But this one's way sleazier and has hotter chicks. So they're about the same for me. I give them both a 5.5.
Thanks, Doug.
Yeah, the porn star in this film, man, she gets her death scene is nasty. Those shears in the back, man. Fuck. There you go.
Yeah, I thought that was. I thought that kill was good, and I thought the bear trap kill was good.
Yeah, the bear trap one is like, it's funny too because it's like totally not related to like what's going on. It's like a fuck up. And I was actually going to ask JP about that too. I was like, oh, fucking booby traps. What do you feel about the booby traps?
I think you misunderstood me when I talked about booby traps. I've never hated booby traps. I just hate that Wes Craven uses them all the time.
You know, one thing I did want to ask you that I forgot to ask you about The Burning, and I have to, this is like a burning question to me, pun intended. But I know you have this thing, and this is actually relatable again. Like everything tonight is just being relatable. We were just talking about Prom Night with the zombie fucking poster and shit. This is actually relating to that movie. So in the beginning of the film, when they play the trick on Cropsy. And what do you feel about the worm placement in that scene? Because you always said that there was bad worm placement in Fulci's Zombie, which is very similar. It's the same thing. I don't think it's actually a shout out to Zombie, but I just think that it's very similar in style of a skull with worms coming out the eyes and nose and shit like that. So
yeah, I guess I didn't think that hard.
I would have to see it again. I don't remember.
I literally wrote down the burning eyes in the skull. I wonder if JP is going to say that the skull had bad worm placement. That's my note. I just love how everything has been connected tonight. It doesn't matter what movie we're talking about. Everything has been connected. It's crazy. But that it's the opening scene in The Burning.
No, that's good worm placement. What are you talking about?
It's the fucking dude. It's
Uh-oh.
The reason that Fulci's film is bad worm placement is because they took a bunch of worms and just stuck them in the eye socket, and it's like the worms wouldn't act like that. Worms don't just like.
Well, that's exactly where they would come. Where were they going to come out of? Like the skull part? I mean, it's going to come out the eyes because he ate the eyes. That's the point of why.
No, I'm saying that first of all, there wouldn't be worms on these as corpses anymore anyway. Because
that's not entirely true because worms are still in the ground. Technically, that's where you find worms. They could be in there because it's still a spot to live.
But I'm just saying, like, worms don't just like group up. They're not ants.
Oh my god, you're getting so.
You asked what I meant by bad.
I was trying to compare the worm placement in this film to that one.
And you see how
I'm not talking about the factual elements of worms. Do they
like all a big pile of worms like on top of each other, like the movie Squirm?
Yeah.
Good worm placement.
I just think that it was funny because I'm like, when I saw that scene, I was like, oh my god, JP and his worm placement was perfect.
Good worm placement. It gets
completely forgot to bring it up during The Burning, but now that we come full circle, man, a lot of contrast tonight, man. Crazy.
I think we definitely broke down some slashers.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is fun. This is really, really fucking fun. I think that a lot of, anyways, that's Cheerleader Camp from 1988. I think that a lot of these like kind of standalone slasher films get forgotten because a lot of people that are horror fans, and you guys see me doing the quotes. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that they love the franchises. And I'm not saying that everybody out there is like that. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that they focus on the more popular films and stuff like that. But there's other films out there that don't get as much love, or it's because they don't have sequels and they never became these bigger things. But films like Twisted Nightmare and Cheerleader Camp and stuff, like, they need more love. That's what we're here to do. I'm glad that everyone actually enjoyed the films because I thought this was a really goddamn fun show to do. And I'm just so happy to finally talk about The Burning because I get it off my chest now. And I know people are going to be like, you were hating on that. I'm like, I don't hate The Burning at all. I'm just telling you my piece with it.
Might have hurt Tony's feelings a little bit.
Yeah, I could see Tony being
shout out Tony.
Pretty fucking high on it for sure. Pretty fucking high. But it's kind of funny, like when you take Twisted Nightmare, which is a very similar premise, and it's like, the construction is so evenly out. I mean, it's not as well made, but I'm just saying, if you're talking in terms of like kills and what it does, it's like a totally different type of film, but it works really well for what it is. So yeah,
for sure.
But yeah, you guys have anything else?
Uh-oh.
No.
Yeah, I've been on this kick though, man. Like watching like a bunch of like really kind of random fucking like slasher films and stuff.
Yeah.
When it hits summertime, I'm just like, I kind of need to watch these things. So like I watch like have you ever seen The Dead Come Home, Mason?
No.
It's also
Is that the 1989 thing?
Yeah, so it's also known as Dead Dudes in the House, the house on Tombstone Hill. And like I always try to tell people, I'm like, man, don't let the title Dead Dudes in the House defer you from watching it, because that's a terrible title for it. The movie's not even comedic. It has comedic elements to it, but it's not a comedy. It's a really interesting slasher film, actually, because it does something totally different. Pretty cool. It's really fucking fun. It was a film that was actually put out by Troma years and years ago, which Vinegar Syndrome put out a great release of it. Highly recommended, man. It's so much damn fun, dude. I love it.
It's on my watch list on Letterboxd, and it should be. It's a 1989, so.
Yeah, it's fucking fun as hell, dude. I rewatched Hide and Go Shriek the other night.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Dude, I forgot how stupidly funny the ending of that movie is. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to admit, that ending is so bizarre.
That's one that I still don't even own.
It is. Yeah, I've got the Code Red Blu-ray on that one too. So JP is already hating on that, but that was a tough one to get a hold of back in the day. I do have I had the not original, but it didn't have a DVD release. It had it was a Australian DVD release that I had from fucking 20 some years ago, which was always the way I could see it. But then I actually watched Rock and Roll Nightmare. First time I'd ever seen that movie. I've had the Dark Forest Blu-ray I know it's on Shudder for years. I never watched it, but that shit is fun as hell. Fun as fucking hell. Hard Rock Nightmare. Have you ever seen that one?
I don't think so.
If I've seen it, it would have been like the same time period I saw this, or like a long time ago.
Oh man, dude, I don't know.
87 film?
Yeah, 87. It says it's probably 87. Yeah, on IMDb.
Oh damn.
It's so much fun, bro. I literally died laughing at the end of this.
I've never seen this.
Oh my god, dude!
DVD of it or something?
I've got the Dark Force Entertainment Blu-ray. So basically, yeah. So I did post a picture on my Instagram, but it's fucking. I don't know what took me so long to watch it, but it was the first time watch. I'd never seen it before, and fuck, dude,
Yeah, I've seen this one around, but sadly I haven't seen it. But I'd probably like it with the whole.
It's so much fun.
Slasher theme, yeah,
so much fun. And I'm not going to ruin it, but like I did say something in my post on Instagram about like how it plays out, and like if you're a fan of those type of shows, you'll love this movie. It's hilarious. It's so much fun, But summertime.
Hard Rock Zombies.
What's that?
Is it better than Hard Rock Zombies?
Oh, it is way better than Hard Rock Zombies. Yeah.
Well, that's a good endorsement. I got a soft spot for Hard Rock Zombies though, but it is pretty bad. But
it is bad, but it's definitely it's a way better movie. It really is. It's really fun. Sure. Then I rewatched Evil Speak the other night. Damn, dude. I wish Clint Howard got more fucking roles. And you know what the funny thing about that movie, rewatch that film? I'm like, the fucking baddies in that movie are more dorky than he is in it. It's like these four guys that are so dorky, and I'm like, bro.
Dorky than Clint Howard?
Yeah, dude, they're so dorky. It's hilarious. But Evil Speak rocks, man. So much fun. I love that movie. Yeah, once it gets going in the third act, you're just like, damn, amazing. Swinging swords. It's good shit. But I love in summer, man, where I can just like watch whatever the fuck I want to. Like, this is great.
Yeah, I've kind of been doing that the last couple of weeks.
I brought down a whole stack of movies. Like, I've got all my fucking Paul Naschy stuff I haven't watched in a couple of years, and I've got like a bunch of slasher films. I'm like, I'm just gonna go through all this shit. I'm like, this is awesome. So much fun. So,
Dance or Die from TerrorVision. That was one of my newest watching that I really liked. I think 87 Dance or Die. Yeah, it's like what the fuck is the company? Not PM Entertainment, but that did that movie. Damn it.
I've never seen it before, actually.
Okay. But anyway.
I'm going to have to grab that at Wasteland.
City Lights Productions. That's the one. City Lights.
Okay. Right.
Because TerrorVision is putting out like a whole City Lights catalog.
Oh, that's fucking awesome, man. By the time October rolls around, they'll have like a whole slew of releases, and it'll just break my bank.
Yeah.
It's going to be fucking awesome, but yeah, I know TerrorVision is doing some big things right now, so looking forward to picking up their newest releases. I know we didn't even mention actually in the intro, but Severin releasing. Oh, there you go. Oh, it's fucking awesome. Oh, it's a side loader too.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Shit. But Severin releasing the Lamberto Bava TV films that never got released. That's amazing.
Hell yeah.
Super stoked on that. So
did you get the shoestring slasher set from Terrorvision? Did you see that?
I did see that one, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one fucking sold out quick.
Oh, it's already gone? Shit.
Yeah. I think there might be like some random retailers. Maybe you could still get one. I know that they're going to put a standard out eventually, they said. It just wouldn't be like a box, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go for it because like the shipping was like more than the set, so I was like, I can't do that. That just doesn't make it.
Maybe they'll have some copies at Wasteland or something.
Maybe I hope they have some deals this year.
What do you mean? They had deals last year.
They had like 2 for $40s and stuff like that.
Yeah, 2 for $40s about as good as you can get.
$20.
I'm thinking of Severin. I'm talking about Severin, not Terrorvision.
But at least Severin had some of those titles, that they weren't even selling on the website there, so that was kind of cool. 4 Flies and Grey Velvet, like that was one that I grabbed there.
Yeah,
not even on the website anymore.
Yeah, so. They FOMO'd me when it came out. Like, fine, I'll pay for it.
Well, honestly, that was one of the better choices you made, kind of.
Yeah.
It's still the same price at the convention.
Yeah, it was. It was exactly the same price. So I was like, whatever.
Yeah. And like, I'm pretty sure you bought like the only copy or the last copy, right?
I know I got the last copy of
They were definitely gone eventually.
Volume 3 box set. They only brought one and I bought it on Friday right away. So I was like, okay, sweet. But yep. All right. Well, anyways, guys, we're probably done here. I don't know how long this has gone on for.
5 hours.
Very long.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. Yeah. But that was fun. That was really fucking fun. So we're going to actually have some more summer shows coming up, right, JP?
Yeah, at least we're definitely going to do The Hills Have Eyes still. That was supposed to be the next one, but we didn't. So we're definitely going to do that at some point in the summer, and then possibly 2 other shows.
Yeah. Which is, man, speaking of that, man, we got to get on this 300.
That would get us to 298.
And we already know what the first show back is. It's going to be 1992. So
that would be 299.
Yep.
So we need to actually work on things, but so I guess that is it. Also, Sinbin this week, it'll actually be out before this show, or maybe not out, but it'll be recorded before this show.
It'll be recorded the night before this one goes. Actually, it'll probably go live when we are recording.
Okay,
because that happens sometimes if we're going that late. So
yeah. All
right. So thank you, Mason. Got anything else to plug?
Just thanks for having me, man. If it's slashers, I'm here.
All right,
awesome.
Man.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, man. So much fun having you, man. Thanks for the input, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was good times. So that's going to conclude episode 295 here on the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. Check you guys next show. I shouldn't say next week. Yeah. Episode 296. Not entirely sure what it's going to be, but it is coming. It'll be the Hills Have Eyes franchise. 100% sure for sure. Don't know why I said that twice, but check you guys later.
All right. Peace.
Later.
That's all, folks.